Raycom Sports presents Big 8 College Football. This afternoon from Boulder, Colorado, it's the 12th-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys against the surprising Colorado Buffaloes. Today's Big 8 game is brought to you by Coors and Coors Light, beers with a taste worth tasting. And by Black & Decker M47 Series Power Tools. They work with your hands as if they were one. The real question mark here in Boulder today is the ankle of this young man. Mark Hatcher, the Colorado quarterback, did not play against Nebraska a week ago. They hope he can go all the way, but he's only 60%. They don't want to play Allen Straight. Bill McCartney would like to redshirt him. He also has a foot injury, but if need be, in order to win the game, you might see Allen Straight. A beautiful day here at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains in Boulder, Colorado. And a big football game here this afternoon as the Oklahoma State Cowboys battle the Colorado Buffaloes. Game time temperature expected to be in the mid-50s on a sunny day here in Colorado. Hello, everyone. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. And I guess back at the start of this season, Kev, nobody thought Colorado would be playing for a bowl bid, but they may be today.
I'll tell you what, the Baby Buffs are tough, and anytime you have bowl scouts hanging around, you know you have two great football teams. Today we've got a great matchup. We're excited about it. Colorado and Oklahoma State, both bona fide super football teams.
And, of course, around the Big 8, as we do every week, we have a lot of other key matchups. The first one down in Norman, Oklahoma, where Kansas goes. They're dangerous, and they can beat Oklahoma.
This is a real interesting matchup because Kansas, although they have 3 losses, they could be undefeated. You have to remember they lost to Florida State, Iowa State, and then last week to Oklahoma State. The key is Mike Norseth. He has not really been too sharp the last 3 weeks. They're going to need a great big effort from Mike Norseth and his receivers. The defense, too, against Oklahoma, they're just going to have to do a super job. They did a great job last week against Oklahoma State. John Randolph had a big day. They've got Willie Pless. It's a good program. It's a great team. The question is, can they beat Oklahoma? Because the Sooners have that awesome offense, over 600 yards last week alone. Anthony Stafford had a big day. The Oklahoma offense seems to be getting geared up, and if they get tough, along with that great defense and all that great personnel, you've got Bosworth and Casillas, and it's just a great Oklahoma defense. They're going to be a match for Kansas, but that might be closer than some people think.
Along, of course, with Oklahoma, Nebraska's still unbeaten at the top of the Big 8 race, and the Cornhuskers are looking awesome since the season-opening loss to Florida State.
Well, Nebraska's always tough. You know, this is a real tough battle. And Nebraska's got offense, they've got defense, they've got just about everything. K-State, primarily a defensive team. What Nebraska will do to you, they'll take DuBose outside and then sneak Rathman up the middle. They did it to Colorado last week. It was a game-breaker, the longest play of the day. What K-State really needs in this game is a little bit of offense. They got it last week against Missouri, just enough to win. They're going to need a big day from number 7, John Welsh. The guy can throw. He's got a strong arm. The question really is, can they beat the Nebraska points for enough points, beat the Nebraska defense for enough points to beat them? It's doubtful, really.
Missouri is 0-7. Nobody expected that. Certainly not Woody Wittenhofer in his first year at the helm in Columbia, Missouri. And they have to go to Iowa State in Ames this afternoon and beat a pretty good defensive team in Iowa State. And a lot of people thought Missouri would be a 500 team at least by this point.
Well, I have to maintain that Missouri is a better team than a lot of people think. They haven't won, but they do have a lot of good young personnel. This is a team that's been taught from the start by Wittenhofer. They pursue the ball very well. Their defense will come around. Now, Iowa State's got 3 wins, but I believe that Missouri and Iowa State is a very, very close battle. Darrell Wallace had the second biggest day ever for a Missouri back last week, over 200 yards. He's a game-breaker type back. He needs to get into that Iowa State secondary to do some damage. Alex Espinoza, a question mark. If he comes to play today, he will create problems for that Missouri defense. Good matchup, close game.
And our game here at Folsom Field this afternoon, lots of bowl scouts on hand. It starts to get you the feeling of the holidays are approaching, and both of these teams have a lot at stake. To the winner, a guaranteed bowl bid virtually, and a pretty good-sized bowl at that.
Well, you're right. This is definitely a bowl game. Probably these two teams will show up in bowls. The difference in this game, I think, is Oklahoma State's experience. I think they have a lot of experience. Their senior class is excellent, while Colorado is going with a lot of young people. Now, the Colorado team can play, but they've had injuries, and primarily to the quarterback position. The guy you see here, Rick Wheeler, last week against Nebraska, will not play. He's out for the year, but the starting quarterback most of the year was Mark Hatcher. What he has to do, as Wheeler does here, is go to the corner, make a seam in that defense for Oklahoma State. He's got to get up inside to do some damage. He's got a bad leg. The question mark whether or not they'll be able to run at the quarterback position. If they can't, they do have a bona fide All-American candidate in tight end John Embry. 51 catches last year, just 6 this year, but he will be a threat today if they can't run. On the other side, of course, you've got the great Oklahoma State defense, and they created some problems for Mike Norseth last week. Moore right here making an interception. He's got 6 on the year. He'll play a big part in the run support. And then, of course, Leslie O'Neal. What a game he had last week. He's an All-American and an Outland Trophy candidate. This is going to be a good ball game defensively because that Oklahoma State defense is very tough, and Bill McCartney of Colorado knows it.
We're going to try to leave him unblocked and hope he makes the wrong decisions. I'm not sure that we can block him. Really, our wishbone's been dormant for the last 2 weeks. We haven't been near as effective as we had in previous games, and we're hoping to crank it up again. We've been without our quarterback, Mark Hatcher, and I don't know that he'll be 100%, but if he's close to 100%, it should make a big difference.
It'll be interesting to see if Bill McCartney can get away without blocking Leslie O'Neal this afternoon. But O'Neal, of course, a very pivotal force for Oklahoma State on defense. And on offense, Ronnie Williams is the man that they look for. He's just a sophomore, and they come in with, I guess, Kevin, as balanced an attack offensively as they've had in years in Stillwater.
Well, they've changed over the year. Thurman Thomas is the leading rusher in the Big 8, but the key to the offense is Ronnie Williams. For a young guy, he's got great finesse. He knows how to put the touch on the ball, and he'll create some problems here for that Colorado defense, which is an excellent defense. Now, these guys have great linebackers. Barry Remington is a super backer. Dan McMillan. They also have an excellent middle guard, a guy named Kyle Rappole. They're linebackers, and this is kind of an oddity so far this year, with the exception of Willie Pless. Their linebackers are all leading tacklers on this team. They're very active. They get into the offense of the other team, and Pat Jones knows this defense is tough.
Well, they're very, very sound defense. I think that's the biggest area that they've improved in. They're second in the league in total defense. You know, we've got to, again, hope that we can mix it up. I really don't think that we can just hammer it out against them. I think we've got to be able to throw the ball some. We need to reestablish our running game a little bit because of injuries or one factor or another. We haven't rushed the ball quite as well the last couple of weeks as we would have liked to. I hope Thurman is healthy, and I hope the tailbacks are healthy enough to challenge him a little bit in the running game. But again, by and large, we'll have to throw some.
We talked about how important this game is. You can see right there, Nebraska and Oklahoma unbeaten. Colorado and Oklahoma State both with a loss. Neither can afford another. The 28th meeting between these two schools coming up next from the Rocky Mountains in Boulder, Colorado. Stay with us.
Coach McCartney of Colorado talked about not blocking Leslie O'Neal, and that's because in the wishbone attack, quite often you will leave a player unblocked. The first diagram I have here is really a traditional wishbone attack. This is the quarterback. This would be Hatcher. He'll go to the corner after faking to the fullback. Depending on what the tackle does, he'll either give it to the fullback or not. When he goes to the corner, remember he's got a bad leg. He has to make a decision on running or pitching the ball. Now, with the bad leg, he'll probably pitch it sooner. The guy who's unblocked in this scheme is the strong safety, and what that means is the force guy here will probably be the strong safety. He has to make a decision whether to come to the quarterback or go to the pitch man. This is Ron Brown, world-class speed on this guy. So what the point of the offense really is to stretch the defense. They'll run the corner off, try to get lateral pursuit, and then go to the goal line. It's a great offense, lots of excitement, lots of turnovers. Now down here, what I'm showing you is here, this is the veer. This is the wishbone, this is the veer. The difference between the wishbone and the veer, and nobody here will run the veer, is the fullback. Colorado's got a great fullback, Witherspoon. He's the reason they run the wishbone offense. If they didn't have him, they would probably go to the veer offense. Looking for a great game, just about ready to kick off.
All right, you can see the crowd has gathered here at Folsom Field. The teams have come onto the field, getting set for the kickoff. Oklahoma State with Joey O'Donnell will kick off to Colorado. So the Buffalo Wishbone, you see Loy Alexander at the bottom of your screen, JoJo Collins at the top. Collins is a very dangerous return man. They liken him to Cliff Branch here in Boulder. They haven't seen the likes of him since the days of Branch, of course, the great receiver for the now Los Angeles Raiders. A lot of yellow cards you'll see throughout the game, maybe some of them falling onto the field. Don't confuse those with penalty markers. They've given out cards to all of the 40,000 plus that have come in here, and they're going to be waving them and throwing them all day. You see what Colorado has done in this all-time series. Mentioned the 28th meeting, and we are just about underway. A false start as O'Donnell approached the kicking tee, but the official deep in the Colorado end of the field was not ready for play, so they'll try it again. Colorado coming in here 5-2. The only losses for the Buffaloes were to two high-powered teams. Ohio State battling for the Rose Bowl, and of course Nebraska last week, a team battling for the Orange Bowl, and they didn't have their quarterback against Nebraska. We're underway. A high kick coming down to Alexander, a couple of yards deep. He'll bring it out. And he gets to about the 16. He was stopped his momentum by Mike Hudson, number 10, who was the first man down there for Oklahoma State. So the Colorado Buffalo wishbone attack will put it in play at their own 16-yard line, and there is Hatcher coming out. He'll lead the offensive team. Eric Coyle, just about an All-American pick, they tell us here at Colorado at center. He's the man to watch there.
Well, the two wide receivers, Alexander, a great blocker. Embry will be an All-American. He's a great one, will be a great pro.
We talked about Hatcher's ankle, but Ron Brown has 4.3 speed in the 40-yard dash. He makes that wishbone go, I'll tell you that. They'll go to Weatherspoon right up the middle on first down, and he runs into a host of tacklers. John Washington is there, number 80, and he'll be there all afternoon. Pickup of two. Oklahoma State defensively, of course, led by Leslie O'Neal, but John Washington is a very underrated tackle. A lot of people would vote him all Big 8.
Adams is a great player. A lot of these guys, because of O'Neal, don't really get the recognition, but two very fine inside linebackers.
Moore, of course, an all Big 8 pick a year ago at the free safety spot defensively in the secondary for the Cowboys. 2nd and 8, loose snap. And Oklahoma State appears to have them all. No official signal yet. And now you see it at the 20-yard line. And if Colorado needs to avoid one thing, it's turnovers deep in their own territory against this team.
I just said it a few minutes ago. Very exciting offense, lots of turnovers. They fumbled 20 times this year. This is the 21st. Hatcher never had it, and that's the 14th fumble they've lost out of the 21 that they've dropped. And remember, Hatcher's got a bad leg. Look at the guy who got it, Mark Moore, number 44. Hatcher's got a bad leg, and that'll change a lot of things. Turning and handling the ball, he's having his problem.
Thomas is the tailback in the I formation, and he gets the call on first down. Big hole over the left side. He's brought down by DeLuzio. Don DeLuzio, the sophomore out of Arvada, California. Or Colorado, I should say. The Oklahoma State offensive front. Hey, they're tough. All seniors on that right side.
Blair is an excellent player. He's an all-league player. Weimer, a good receiver. Dillard's the guy to watch in the big play situation. Riley's their leading receiver. And Williams, of course, in the backfield. This is a great offensive backfield.
Pickup of about 4, 2nd and 6 for the Cowboys. Trying to take advantage of the game. First turnover, Williams to the air, guns it out, incomplete. Intended on the far side for Weimer, and he underthrew him. And we saw last week, as you look at Pat Jones, one of the finest gentlemen you'll meet in the college coaching profession. Williams had a little trouble underthrowing last week. Kyle Rappold, the nose tackle, a very good one, but Fairbanks and Koch on the outside of him, also active.
Here they are. McMillan's a pro prospect. Remington and DeLuzio, Colorado Players of the Year, respectively, in different years. Schubeck, also a big play guy, and this is a great secondary.
Pickens, the best in the secondary. Big play here. 3rd and 6. The draw to Thomas. Tries the left side, short of the first down. And I mean, he was hammered. Conley Smith, number 36, the junior out of Tucson, got him first.
The key there, they got Rappold, the middle guard, down. In fact, he was limping a little bit. They got him on the ground. On a draw play, the middle guard has to defeat the center, hold his ground, and react to the drawback. Rappold was a disaster on that play because he got cut out from under him and hurt his leg, I think, and he just couldn't get up. Disaster for the defense, that is. Your middle guard goes down, you've got no pursuit, and can get in the way of other players. That's not good.
4th and short on the season. Oklahoma State is 3 of 4 in 4th down situations. The one they missed was last week against Kansas in a similar situation.
They're very big up front.
They jumped on that when the flags are down. Thomas gets the first down, but the right side of the line, Kev, appeared to have jumped.
It looked like Meacham or Blair on the right side. Now, these guys are huge, and they really don't need to jump. They have the weight advantage on just about everybody that they play.
And that is a very big penalty. And now they'll send O'Donnell out for the field goal attempt.
Good job by the Colorado defense. Watch the left side of your screen. That's Blair, number 72, trying to come down. He was trying to double team there, and he just got a little anxious and jumped off. Big break for Colorado.
5-yard penalty moves it back to the 16, so that means O'Donnell will tee it up at the 22, add the 10 in the end zone, a 32-yard attempt. He's 6 of 9 on the year, and he's just a freshman out of Perry, Oklahoma. And it looks like he shanked it to the right. A big lift for the Colorado defense.
You know, normally I would have said that was a real tough break for a young Colorado team, but these guys have a lot of experience and they've been up against some tough teams, so I don't really think the youth factor is going to play a big part in this game. This is a mature young team for Colorado.
Scoreless in the first quarter. We'll be back to Folsom Field after this. Back to the action here at Folsom Field. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Colley. While we were away, a couple of plays run by Colorado. They now face 3rd and 2, but the big sequence was that defensive stand for Colorado and the illegal procedure penalty against Oklahoma State that pushed them back after they'd recovered the Mark Hatcher fumble at the 20-yard line of Colorado. So we're scoreless with 12:06 remaining in the first quarter.
Hatcher is not moving real well on this ankle.
He's going to keep it for close to a first down. It depends where they'll spot it. He was very close, and then he was knocked back by Harry Roberts and Mark Moore, but they're spotting it at first down yardage.
It looks like he's got it. On the play before, Hatcher had a real bad time getting to the corner, but Coach McCartney told us yesterday, he said 60% in practice if you're injured sometimes becomes 95% in the game when you get that adrenaline going. He looked like he had it going on that play.
Yeah, Bill McCartney was telling us yesterday that I said, well, who will you put in if he goes down? You don't want to throw straight in there and ruin his red shirt. He said, I'll look at both of the quarterbacks right in their eyes and I'll know who to play. First down, Colorado, their first of the game. They come out of the wishbone with Brown. He's the sprinter, and if he gets behind you, he stays there. Krebs made the tackle for Oklahoma State. He picked up 5.
Well, they've been feeding Brown bowling balls, trying to get his weight up. A great receiver last year. He's only 190 pounds, but you can see his average per rush. If he gets loose, he goes for the big one. That's what brings that average up, 6.1. This is a guy, if he could put on another 10 pounds, well, he'll have to do it. He's a senior. He'll have to do it for Pro Bowl. But he's probably slated as a wide receiver in pro football anyway.
Well, it was an all-Big 8 conference wide receiver a year ago, but a versatile performer, switching to that left halfback spot. Weatherspoon, short yardage. Washington on top of him, along with Krebs. You know, we talk about Brown and we talk about 4.3 speed, and that's all I can do is talk about it. Of course, you ran a 4.3, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. He had to push me off a cliff to get me going that fast, but...
You can see how excited they are over that 5-2 start here in Boulder this year. Not many people expected that. This was a team that was 1-10 a year ago.
Interesting how this team was built. We'll get into it later in the broadcast, but there was one class entirely redshirted, 31 out of 32, and then another class right behind it that wasn't. So there's a lot of sophomores on this team.
Here's Brown. He makes a cut on Thompson and gets close to the first down, but he's short. Thompson did a good job to stay with Ron Brown that time.
We're going to see that one again. That's a counter off the wishbone, and the thing that tips it off is that Brown doesn't move. Watch number 8 right there. See, he starts to go for the block. Everybody goes left. Brown comes back in the counter. Tell you what, with the kind of speed he has, if the tackle isn't made there, he's gone.
And if Thompson doesn't stay at home, he's probably gone. Good job by Thompson. Now you're looking at the leading punter in the nation, Barry Helton, and what a story he has been, because both of the Colorado kickers, the punter and the place kicker, were suspended from the team for disciplinary reasons before the year started. They came in not knowing anything about their kicking game, and all this guy's done is lead the nation. Whistles flying all over before the snap, so that would probably indicate Colorado took too much time.
Yeah, and it's a good thing they did. That would have been blocked. The crowd was going crazy because the whistle blew 2 or 3 times, and State's Mike Hudson came in and put the wrap on the punter anyway. That punt would have been blocked. They were having trouble with their blocking schemes before they hiked it, and State had it blocked, I believe.
This guy Helton has not had a punt blocked all year long. He's kicked 12 punts of better than 50 yards.
Watch the guys on the front line point to different players. What they're doing is getting their blocking scheme straight, and they didn't have it straight on the last one. State's got 10 people up.
Bobby Riley is the only man deep.
You can either man block or area block on this thing. When you area block, quite often, that's how they block the punt.
Hudson trying to get himself in position to go in there again, and here he comes. He gets it off, and he nails it. What a treat this kid is. That one goes into the end zone, so from his own 34-yard line, that's just a 66-yard punt. So Oklahoma State will take over from their own 20-yard line. When we return, we're scoreless in Boulder. 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter. We're coming back. What a gorgeous outlay here in Boulder, Colorado for a football game. This telecast, by the way, the sole property of Raycom Sports. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this telecast without the express consent of Raycom Sports is prohibited. First down, Cowboys to their own 20. No score in the first quarter. They'll run Thurman Thomas. That was a big hole that closed in a hurry. Barry Remington, the linebacker that you heard Kevin talk of so highly about in the open, coming up to make the stop.
This guy's a great player, but watch what Thurman Thomas does to him. He does exactly the right thing. Goes with the flow, stays at home. He's got a shot, and Thurman gives him a little hip action, and down he goes. But Remington made the play, believe it or not, because he was in the hole, made Thurman Thomas slow down, and they were able to hold him to a 4-yard gain. If he doesn't stay at home, he's gone all the way.
2nd and 6. The lone running back is Thomas over the right side, and he's drilled by Don DeLuzio, the sophomore. Hey, DeLuzio's active along with Remington. You don't find linebackers in this many bunches as good as these guys are.
Top prospect in Colorado, 1984 from Arvada. Don DeLuzio, he's too a great player. This is a good Colorado defense. 5 TDs in the last 4 games for this defense. They can play with anybody.
See the neck on that kid? He couldn't even button his top button. 3rd and 3 for Oklahoma State. They'll run it with Thomas. Big hole over the left side. First down and then some, all the way out to the 39-yard line.
Great blocking on the left side by Burton and Chuck Shanklin on that left side. Now, take a look here. You're going to see Burton's on the inside, number 66. This is Shanklin. He's the weak tackle, pushes the linebacker out, and up the slot they come for big yardage. Now you're going to see it from behind the defense. They caved in the defense here. The linebacker gets caught inside. Remington can't get there. They got to do better than that.
13-yard pickup. Back to the action now. First down, Cowboys. Thomas again hops over about 4 guys and gains about 5 or 6 more. Good effort that time. Kyle Rappold got him from behind, number 91. You know, Thomas, we talked about him, 2nd in the Big 8 in rushing, but for the last 2 weeks, he's failed to gain 100 yards.
Well, he's had that injury, and as a linebacker, you love when guys jump like that. A 250-pound back when he jumps weighs about 3 pounds, and he's helpless, and you love to see guys, and I know they tell Thurman Thomas not to jump. He could get hurt like that.
He's playing a little bit banged up as it is. A thigh bruise, an ankle injury, a shoulder injury. Here's Will Timmons, the fullback, right up the middle, but he runs into Remington, and no further does he go.
That big Oklahoma State line is really giving the Buffaloes fits up front. They have Kyle Rappold as the middle guard. He only weighs 245 pounds. The tackles, Fairbanks and Koch, are 255 and 260 respectively. But up front, we talked about this last week against Kansas, you've got 275, 253, 262, 240. Meacham, he's just a baby. And then 275 Blair on the other side. So these guys can wear you down. But we didn't talk about the altitude yet, did we, Kevin?
No, that's difficult as they measure for the first down, and they're going to be short as it turns out. You played in Wyoming. You know a little bit about playing in this thin air, and I know a little bit now after walking up these steps. It's difficult. You lose your breath fast.
Well, you know, at the end of practice, you got to tuck your tongue into your belt so you don't step on it up here. And when a team this big, and those big guys, when they have to move down the field and they're driving, it takes them 10, 15 plays to get down the field, they'll get tired. And the altitude definitely advantage for the home team.
You saw Bill McCartney on the Colorado sideline, 3rd and inches for Oklahoma State. What a job McCartney has done with this program here in Boulder. Thurman Thomas hurdles his way for the first down over the right side. A lot of black jerseys surrounding him over there. Huge crowd on hand here at Folsom Field today, and they haven't had the spirit here like this in a number of years. And Bill McCartney and his staff have brought it back.
Came into a program, took over in June of 1982. Think about that. After spring ball, he met the team when they came back to play in the fall. And from that point on, he's tried to build. He's had 3 real tough years, but you can see he's done it right. He's got some great young players.
There's the toss to Thomas. He looks a lot fresher than he did a week ago. Breaking tackles all the way down to the 31 of Colorado. Wouldn't you agree? He looks quicker than he did last week.
He certainly does. He's getting those shoulders square, and they're really hurting the right side of that Colorado defense. They're caving him in. Again, Shanklin and Burton and Tucker and Weimer on that left side, and sometimes the tight end, Dillard. They're caving in that defense, giving Thomas a lot of room to run. And as Kevin said, he's a lot quicker. He's getting out there faster and getting upfield quicker.
18 yards, the pickup that time. into the game for Oklahoma State. Kevin Simeon at one of the wide receiver spots. First down Cowboys at the Colorado 30. They're moving. Started this drive at their 20. Thomas again, he was knocked by Rappold as he got to the line of scrimmage, but still fell forward for a couple of yards.
Rappold's taking a beating from Colorado Springs. Here's a Colorado graphic. Defense, it's an excellent defense, allowing 300 yards a game, 17th in the nation. They've earned it. They played a real tough Nebraska team last week. Rappold, his dad, they called him, he went to Tulane, they called him the trash compactor. I don't know whether that's a compliment or not. I guess he looked like a trash compactor. Kyle looks like his dad, short and wide.
You don't want to cross a guy that they call a trash compactor. Williams in trouble, down he goes, and that's the man. Kyle Rappold, a sophomore out of Colorado Springs with his 3rd sack of the year.
Well, we just talked about this guy, a little bit of deja vu. Kyle, number 91, he's going to compact Ronnie Williams here. He beats the block, a super beat. He beat Doug Meacham there. Doug Meacham now, that's a good point. Doug Meacham is about his size. They have him listed at 255 there. He must be eating since they printed the press guide. He's only listed at 245, but Meacham, as Rappold leaves the field, is about his size, and that's the guy he beat. Meacham's the smallest offensive lineman on the Cowboy squad, or on the starting squad.
Loss of 9, 3rd and 17 for Oklahoma State. Williams the pass. Plenty of time, dumps it out to Nash, who can't catch it. And so the Colorado defense comes through again with the big play, this time coming from Rappold.
That's really good coverage by the Colorado team. As we're going to take a look at the defensive secondary, the guy who wants to go to is Dillard, number 87. He's loose right there, doesn't hit him right away, makes a great checkoff when he comes into the flat. And I'll tell you, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys should be happy, because what Williams did as a sophomore, some seniors can't do. He checked off, he just didn't throw a good pass. That'll come in time.
Thompson on the punt. It looked as though Williams had a lot of room to run, though. I wonder if he's a little gun shy after that jaw injury that he suffered earlier in the year, because he could have gotten them within field goal range. This punt hits at the 5 and takes a bad bounce for Oklahoma State, and they have trouble downing it. And now a flag is down. It looked as though they were going to down it, a 37-yard punt, but it took a bounce behind Harry Roberts as he was down there in fine position, but an ineligible receiver downfield against the Cowboys. So it'll be a touchback, and Colorado will begin from their own 20-yard line. They don't want another chance at Thompson deadening one inside the 5. 4:38 remaining in the first quarter. We're scoreless from Folsom Field in Boulder, and we'll be back after this. Back live at Folsom Field here in Boulder, Colorado. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. The Buffaloes and their wishbone, first down at their own 20. No score in the first quarter, and as you can see, the sun is shining beautifully here in the Rocky Mountains. It is a gorgeous afternoon. Weatherspoon right up the gut, carries a couple of people with him, including Jim Krebs, the senior out of Taft, Texas, and he picks up about 5 yards.
Spoon and McCarty, the two great fullbacks. Spoon is 230, McCarty is 220, and both of these guys can go. Weatherspoon in there now. The only problem, he's fumbled the ball quite a bit this year. Weatherspoon has 5 lost fumbles so far, and he almost dropped that when they were pulling on it. State knows he has a tendency to drop it.
Oklahoma State, if you just joined us, has had 2 very impressive offensive drives, but the longer they keep the game close in the first half, the better they like it. The pitch to Brown. If he turns the corner, he's gone, and they're able to chase him out of bounds. Moore came up from that free safety spot. But what I was alluding to is that Colorado's a much better first half team, and Oklahoma State a much better team in the second half.
First thing you have to do against the wishbone is take care of the fullback. They take care of the fullback right here. They stop, but he doesn't have the ball. They get it to Brown outside. Now, he makes a move on the sideline that he didn't need, and that's why he gets caught. If he goes and turns upfield with that speed, I think he would have picked up big yardage, or at least more yardage.
As it is, he gained a couple. And it'll be 3rd and a long 2. Hatcher in trouble. He's not going anywhere. Warren Thompson again with the big defensive play for the Cowboys. And so Colorado will have to punt it again.
responsibilities change defensively when you're talking about the wishbone. They change the guy who's on the pitch man. They change the guy who's on the quarterback. That time it was Warren Thompson. He knew what he had to do, and he stopped Hatcher immediately. Once you stop that quarterback with the ball, the play's over.
Barry Helton, all he did was bang 166 yards his first time. This guy's impressive. And Bobby Riley's elusive, but he couldn't even get his hands on the last one. What a weapon to have back there, and this kid who leads the nation in punting. He borrowed 6 balls from the athletic department over the summer and kicked 75 to 100 a day with his mom and dad fielding it for him. Nearly has that one blocked. The whistle sounds, and I don't know if they took too much time again. Having some problems.
Same problem. Same problem. They're pointing. They don't know what they want to do. Now, generally, the thing to do on a punting team is just close your gaps down. These guys are jumping around for Oklahoma State, doing a lot of different things. What you want to do offensively, you want to close your gaps down, get everybody shoulder to shoulder, and block people out in kind of a semicircle fashion. These guys are confused for Colorado, and they're taking too much time and almost got it blocked again.
Second time they've been victimized on their punting team with a delay of game penalty, and that will back Helton to his own 5-yard line before he touches this one off. So you can see the respect Riley has for him, though. He's back in his own 32 to receive the punt.
Here they come again.
Hudson's the guy that seems to be bothering him. He's still moving around. Helton in trouble. Kicks it left-footed. And did one heck of a job. Look at that. But something's wrong with that punting team.
They don't know what they want to do. They don't know what they want to do, and they're pointing and they're making all sorts of gestures. Now they're going to get it from the outside here, but then the top side of the screen forces them to go left-footed. That's incredible. This guy a soccer player or what?
51-yard punt left-footed on the run. They're loving it over on the Colorado sideline. What a punter he is. We're still scoreless. 2.5 minutes left first quarter. We're coming back to Boulder. Back live, Folsom Field, Boulder, Colorado. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. Scoreless, 2.5 minutes left first quarter. Oklahoma State. First down, and Thomas slips. And now he's not going anywhere. DeLuzio grabbed him. Well, linebackers like you love to see a guy slip, don't you? Then you can really get him.
Well, not in college because you can't hit him.
But they hit him.
When they go down, yeah, I'm wondering about that. He went down. The play should have been over. Running back's got to learn when he goes down not to get up. Interesting thing about the punter for Colorado, Barry Helton. He was a quarterback in high school, threw for 2,700 yards, had 39 touchdown passes, and can kick with his left foot.
And can kick well with his left foot. Second and 11, they flip it out to Thomas. He's got some people in front of him. But on a very good defensive job from Mickey Pruitt, the strong safety out of the secondary, to make the tackle and save a big gainer.
That's great defense by Colorado. We saw this thing go for big yardage last week against Kansas. They set it up very well. Williams runs it well. Those linemen tip it off when they take off to the right of the screen. Now watch the Colorado defense. All the dark shirts. Boom, boom. They're all there, and they're closing for a 3-yard gain. That's incredible on a screen pass like that that's completed.
3rd and 7 for Oklahoma State. They'll run it with Thomas. He's in trouble. He's not going anywhere. Gang tackled as he approached the 35-yard line, and they'll have to punt it away again. And this crowd loving every minute of Kyle Rappol's performance.
Very conservative call by Oklahoma State. 3rd and long in their own territory, and they have respect for what is a very strong Colorado defense. Look at the linebackers. They stay on their feet. That's what you want to do. Fight off the blocks, close the hole, and then the dark shirts cover them up. Good defense.
Thompson on to punt. JoJo Collins is deep for Colorado. He's a dangerous return man, and Thompson really nails it. Collins is going to return it from his own 23. He can fly. Oh, and they just got a hand on him from behind, or he may have broken it.
If he had a shorter shoestring, he'd have gone for a touchdown on that one.
He's limping off. Just 40 seconds left here in the first quarter, and we're still scoreless. Colorado and Oklahoma State. Travel arrangements made through Eastern Airlines, serving Big 8 country with convenient flights from Kansas City to the East and West. At Eastern, we earn our wings every day. 45-yard punt by Thompson, and Colorado with a fine return from JoJo Collins. The return of 14 yards up to their 38, and they're in business with their wishbone 1st and 10. In the last minute of the quarter, Weatherspoon gains a couple to the 40.
Boy, is Weatherspoon big. John Washington met him head up at the line. Weatherspoon carried him for about a yard or two, 230 pounds with all that momentum. You know nothing about the wishbone. Everybody knows where they're going. One of the reasons McCartney went to the wishbone, as you look at Weatherspoon, is that the line blocking is a lot simpler than in other types of offenses. They can fire out because they know pretty simply what their blocking assignments are. The same for the fullback, the same for the running backs. There's no uncertainty.
2nd and 8 for the Buffaloes. Hatcher nearly caught them. He's going to throw the ball. He hangs it downfield and he hits Ferrando, but it's knocked away. A great defensive play by Demise Williams. Hatcher threw a strike.
It's a great pass and very tough to play pass defense against the wishbone because you're always looking run. They stretch your defense. You want to come up and help out on the option. And for Demise Williams to be back there in coverage, that's a great play.
Oklahoma State offside. You saw that change of cadence by Hatcher, and he pulled him, and then he had a free one and nearly hit it. You know, and to see Ferrando not hold on, even though the play was made defensively by Williams, is something of a rarity because they compare Ferrando to Fred Biletnikoff here at Colorado.
Left court.
The first quarter is over, and we are scoreless, Colorado and Oklahoma State. And we will return to Folsom Field after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network. Back here at Folsom Field, Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. The first quarter still has a couple of seconds left in it, so the officials keeping it down on the field.
The quarter that wouldn't die.
That's
yes.
right.
It did say it ran out on the clock. We watched the clock. Obviously, a little difficult to see the wristwatch on the official from up here, but they keep it down on the field, and it had not run down.
So Colorado will have one more play in the first quarter, and then that will be the end, hopefully, of the first quarter. Otherwise, it may never die.
Yeah. Well, it's Halloween. The clock now, what they're trying to do is reset the clock, the field clock.
Well, just to recap for you, Colorado getting the benefit of the 5-yard offside penalty against Oklahoma State, and they'll go 2nd down and 3 from their own 45-yard line. Some of the Oklahoma State Spirit Squad making the trip up here. They tell us they're going to go skiing tomorrow. Some people are fortunate in this world.
They're going to have to go dirt skiing around here. There's no snow on these mountains.
All right, here we go. 2nd down for Colorado. They run Weatherspoon into the gut, and he doesn't get very far. Washington was on top of him, number 80 for Oklahoma State, but Jim Krebs, the linebacker, number 55, was right in there too. And of course, the Cowboy is here. Well, how do you get that on the plane? Did he get through the tunnel like that?
I'm wondering how he shaves. Need a big razor for that. One thing about the wishbone too is if you're an inside linebacker, a middle guard, or a tackle, and your responsibility is at fullback all day, whether he has the ball or not, you got to pound and pound and pound that guy all day. So you're involved in just a crunching sort of environment for all 60 minutes in the game. It's a very tough team to play, a wishbone team, because it's very physical.
And now the first quarter has come to an end.
Very quietly.
And we're still scoreless. Colorado and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State had the better of the offense in the first quarter. They were able to move. They recovered a Colorado fumble at the Buff 20-yard line, but couldn't get any points when O'Donnell missed the field goal, a short one that he just shanked. But Colorado's defense has been up to the task also.
Remember what I said about the altitude. The second drive that they had was a very strong drive until they got around the 30-yard line. They began to kind of slow down. They weren't moving them out as well, and it will create problems. Now, you know, this is about a mile, almost exactly a mile high. We're about 25, 30 miles from Denver, and the altitude does make a difference.
You know, they may look back on that failed opportunity after they recovered the fumble later in this game, because they didn't have to drive very far on that one. Taking over the Colorado 20 and come up empty-handed is a very difficult thing to handle early in a ball game. It really changed the momentum around in that first quarter.
Look at it, Symington there. Junior Ely is a Hawaiian on the Colorado team, and he gives out Hawaiian nicknames.
What does he call you?
He hasn't met me yet, and based on these nicknames I'm looking at, I hope he never meets me. He calls Symington, he calls him Bovi for a fat pig. That's nice.
Well, they're friendly, right?
Yeah, I hope they have a good sense of humor.
3rd and 1 for Colorado from their own 47. This is an appetizer for a wishbone. Weatherspoon dives forward. He's very close if he doesn't have it. The Buffaloes rejuvenated program. They're trying to win a 3rd time here in the Big 8 this year, and that would be the first time they'd won 3 conference games since 1977. So you can see the program has been down, and Weatherspoon has the first down.
And they went right over Junior Ely and Pat Ryan on the left side there. And of course, you look for that fullback in short yardage. And the reason, again, they will spread out the defense. You can't stack against them because if the quarterback keeps it, you have to have people out there to take him. You got to have a guy on the pitch man. So you got that fullback 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 all the time.
First down for Colorado. They're moving it in little bitty grabs. They're not really getting the big play, but this could be it on the reverse. Loy Alexander didn't get outside, and your great player, Mark Moore, that's what you look for from a great player, is the great play.
Well, that was incredible. They had Symington and Webb fighting over who was going to block Moore, and neither one got him. The 2 offensive linemen ran into each other. This thing's gone for 40 yards. When they hand it off, watch the top of your screen. Webb and no, it's not Symington. It's Webb is 75. I think that was Coyle, and they both miss Moore. Moore makes the play on Alexander. That's great defense by Moore. Great defense.
Junior Ely is injured down on the field for Colorado, so what looked like a big play turns into a great defensive play from Moore, and that's why he's all Big 8, and then some people say All-American. 14.5 minutes left in the half. And while they tend to Ely, we'll take a break here in Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. You see the score. The Buffaloes with the pitch to Sanders. He's got some room outside. They close in a hurry on him as he gets into Oklahoma State territory. Loose ball, but the play had been blown dead. And it looked like he might go for some yardage that time, but they closed it and surrounded him in a hurry.
Sanders is another one. He's from California. He's not a big guy, 5'8", 180 pounds, but he's very quick. This was expected to be a defensive battle. You can see it up there. Time of possession is about equal. The score is equal at 0. 4 yards passing. We got 2 running teams here, folks, and they both give up about 15 points a game. So if you think you're going to see a lot of touchdowns, you're not. Just settle in, enjoy the defense, because it's pretty good.
3rd and 6 for Colorado. A little bit surprising that Oklahoma State hasn't passed for more. Now Colorado going to the air. Hatcher drilled as he threw. There's a flag down. It was intended for Ron Brown. And every time Bill McCartney sees Hatcher go down, I think he takes a big sigh of relief to see him get up. Let's check the flag. Thrown in the vicinity of the offensive line, which means that holding. Leslie O'Neal's been real quiet today, and probably because of this option. He's not quiet here. A little over the top, and now it's open season on Hatcher. He pounded him pretty good there, and he's the one, of course, that caused the incompletion. Got to do, when you get one-on-one on O'Neal, I don't know what to do with it. Probably grab him. Don't block him, as Bill McCartney suggested.
Well, you don't have to block him in the option. In the option, you can leave him alone. Here we got another punt.
They've made this exciting. Helton gets this one off and hangs it up there in the wind. And that takes a Colorado bounce and goes out of bounds at the 5-yard line. This Helton is something special. That's the 8th time he's steadied the ball inside the opponent's 20-yard line.
I'm surprised he went with the right leg. He had so much success with the left leg last play.
He's more accurate with this one. 42 yards, and he knocks it out of bounds with the 5.
You want to hear an incredible, I gave a statistic. I'm not big on these things, but there's a couple of beauties here. 56 yards total for the year return yardage against him. 56 yards in 7 games is all the yardage the return team could get.
Excellent special teams for Colorado, leading the country not only in punting, but in net punting. Thurman Thomas over the right side, stacked up as he got to the line of scrimmage. Don DeLuzio was there again.
Great job by DeLuzio. He's the off linebacker, number 49. The hole is there, but Thurman Thomas decides to take it off. Now watch 49. Steps up inside the block. You don't have to take on the block. If you can get up inside it, you can make the play. These guys have great instincts, and that's half the battle when you're playing linebacker.
Lynn Beck in replacing Riley at the wide receiver spot for Oklahoma State. They're giving a steady dose of Thomas. Rappold wraps him up as he gets to the 10-yard line. Pickup of about 4.
They stay at home so well, the Buffaloes, and by that I mean They try to defeat their block. They don't over pursue. And when Thurman Thomas, who's a great cutback runner, tries to go back across the grain, there's a buffalo standing there. Nobody wants to run into a buffalo.
Especially if you've seen Ralphie, the mascot, down there. I don't want any part of Ralphie. Big play here, 3rd and 6 for Oklahoma State. And they'll run it with Thomas again. It's Colorado not fooled, and the play goes nowhere as McMillan over the top makes the tackle, number 50.
That was power football. Very conservative, Pat Jones. Now, you have to remember, early on, last year, early part of this year, he's a very conservative coach. He likes to run the ball. He doesn't like to make mistakes. He waited and waited on Kansas last week. Kansas made a mistake. He capitalized and won the game. He'll wait. He'll take his turn. He'll punt the ball. He's not going to put it up for grabs.
And the play that beat Kansas, in effect, was a pass. Thompson from his own goal line, kicking it away. Remember, Collins is deep. He's going to return this one. From his 44, he's into Oklahoma State territory at the 42. A 14-yard return by Collins. He's as good a kick return man as we've seen all year. 11.5 minutes left. We're in a scoreless first half, and we'll return to Boulder, Colorado after this. Back live in Boulder, Bill McCartney, the Colorado coach, down on the sideline, talking to his defensive team that's been exquisite today, and they've given his offense great field position at the Oklahoma State 41-yard line. First down, scoreless game. Witherspoon, short yardage as he tucks inside the 40, fumbles it, but the play had been blown dead. JoJo Collins, the Buffalo punt return man, has been very close to breaking a return on each of his 2 returns, and you get the feeling that he gets another step in its history.
Especially on a low punt like the last one. Junior Ely has an ankle injury. He's been taken in for an x-ray to the locker room. An interesting note for Colorado, too. First 5 games, they started the same 22 guys. Did not have an injury every single game. Last 2 games, they've been getting banged up.
And it's hurt them in key positions, especially the quarterback spot. Hatcher has the ball. Trying the right side, but he's nose down as Moore came up, along with James Ham, the linebacker, number 40. Some of the other action that started early today, LSU and Ole Miss. That's at halftime already. When they start, 9 a.m.?
Yeah, this is morning football.
There's a baseball game.
Boston College got a nice defense. Mike Ruth is a great player, and that's a good matchup there.
Maryland on top of the Tar Heels.
That could be for the ACC championship. That one, Maryland, North Carolina, the powers in that conference.
3rd and a long 5. Witherspoon diving with the fake, but Hatcher keeping it himself. Great fake from Witherspoon.
Great fake, and I think the thing about Hatcher, did you see how quick he went down when they got a hold of him? No support on the leg, and boy, he went down like a rock. I think if Hatcher was healthy, he could have dragged a little bit for some yardage. He's not a small guy. He's about 190 pounds. Used to be a tailback, but he went down like a rock on that play.
I think they're going for it here. 4th and short. The Buffaloes at the 32 of Oklahoma State. Boy, an enthusiastic crowd.
I'd stack the middle here because I don't think they think Hatcher can get to the corner.
See if they give it to Witherspoon. They do, and he's got the first down to the 30. Harry Roberts came up to make the tackle. But the big guy, the one they call Spoon up here in Boulder.
And he went right behind the Bovi. Symington and Webb doing their job. Simon, if you're interested about Bovi, 6'2", 270-pound sophomore, and a transfer from Washburn in Topeka, Kansas. He was all-conference for Washburn in 1983. Symington has come to Colorado, and he's a pretty good player here, too.
Boy, you really look into their past, don't
Yeah,
you?
I do, boy. I got a private detective on all these guys.
First down, the pitch goes to Brown, and a great defensive play on the corner by Hudson, or he was gone. He just got an ankle.
Yeah, speaking of ankles, I think this is a great point about Hatcher. Watch how quick he pitches, and watch Hatcher, number 6. He's having trouble moving, and this is almost a forward pass. The pitch is good because it leads him. He makes the turn, and you're right. Actually, it worked out as a good play. It really didn't look very good, but it worked out.
And got 8 yards. When we say that if Ron Brown gets a step, he's gone, and it looks to you like he's not, remember this guy runs a 4.3 40. That's almost illegal. He could be arrested if he were running on the highway at that speed. Witherspoon, the big guy, stacked up as he got to the 20. May have been a few inches short of the first down, depending on where they spot it. The ball is loose, but it's been blown dead. But boys will be boys, right? Crowd doesn't like it.
A whistle not making a real big impact here this afternoon. That was Coyle. And if you're an offensive center, if you get a chance to get the ball back after the snap, you're going to run whether the whistle's blown or not.
The heck with the whistle.
Yeah, he should have turned it around, though. His end zone was in the other direction. Really pounding Witherspoon on that play. You could see them pulling at the ball. They know he has a little bit of a history of fumbling. I said earlier he's lost 5 this year. So the State defense really pulling when Spoon gets the ball or trying to get it out of his hand.
He did not get the first down. You can see how close he is to it, though. He needs to get to the 20. So it'll be 3rd and inches. They're just 2 of 6 on 3rd down conversions thus far. They bump into each other, but Hatcher ducks. O'Neal gets him from behind, but he ducks in there for the first down.
Hatcher just not at full speed. He's a guy I think that we like to see at full speed, see what he can do. He's very quick, used to be a tailback, but look, he's hobbled. He needs to turn upfield. He's having trouble turning upfield, and partially because he's got white shirts on his back.
And he's injured as he came up. He came up limping, but he's going to go back into the huddle. I thought he was going to head off. Now Strait has come on. So it is Strait. I guess McCartney looked into his eyes and decided Alan Strait was the man.
Well, not only that, he looked at the scoreboard. There's no score. They're on the 20-yard line with a first down, and Hatcher is in the open field. I think he's a little better, but somebody's going to have to run tough up there at the corner, and he needs a quarterback that can do that.
Well, the handoff goes to Sanders. He just muscles his way for about 4 yards. He just followed the ball and got himself going. Remember, the Strait has an injured foot. He hurt it playing slow pitch softball last summer, and it's just never come around. They're going to wait until the season's over and then make a decision on surgery.
Feet they ought to have a team podiatrist here. Feet are definitely a problem for Colorado, as you see Hatcher.
That slow pitch softball gets you.
Leslie O'Neal has not had a real big day. He's made a couple of big plays, but he's going up against some pretty tough offensive linemen and a couple of more guys. As you see Brown with the double team, he just can't get inside.
Here's Strait trying to turn the corner, knocked down as he gets to the 15. Washington was there. So was Krebs and Ham, the linebackers.
A lot quicker to the corner. You could see it. Strait getting up there. He got met by a lot of Cowboys, but he's a little bit quicker than Hatcher. They say he's going to be a great option quarterback.
This Colorado wishbone has been so devastating that 23 times they've gotten inside the opponent's 20-yard line this year, and they've come away with a score 21 of those times, and 16 have been touchdowns. So they capitalize.
They're very efficient inside, but they're going to have a tough down here. This 3rd and long is very tough for the wishbone.
Witherspoon does not get it. He powers his way to about the 13-yard line. He was knocked down. Washington again, along with Krebs. Boy, they're doing a job, those two. And it's going to present a 4th down situation, and that means Larry Eckel is going to come on and try to get the Buffaloes the first points of the day. Now, this will be a 30-yard field goal and a very dangerous crosswind.
He's 5 for 5 from this distance. I think, what will this be? This will be a 29. 5 for 5, 30 to 39.
6 for 6. Eckel with a 30-yard field goal, and Colorado breaks out on top with 5:46 left in the half. They lead 3-0, and will return to Boulder for the kickoff after this. On the strength of what they now rule officially a 29-yard field goal by Larry Eckel, Colorado has jumped out on top 3-0 with 5:46 left in a first half that has been dominated by defense.
It's a big 3 points in this game. It's not been a whole lot of offense, and 3-3. That'll get you a win if the other team doesn't get any.
That's for sure. It's an 11-play drive set up on the punt return by JoJo Collins. They killed 5.5 minutes off the clock with it. They're a ball control team, Colorado is. Here's Riley at his own 2-yard line. Riley dives his way out to the 24, and it was the kicker, Larry Eckel, that got down there to trip him up.
And Larry, I think, very wisely got down there and got the toes, got a hold of those toes and made the tackle. Got real low on Riley.
An injured player for Colorado, number 23, David Tate. 23-yard return that time. Maybe Tate is just fixing his shoe. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's down on one knee. Looked like he had an ankle problem. They've had enough of those ankle and foot problems here. Williams on first down to throw. They're starting to open it up now, and he hits Weimer at about the 30, and he's dropped over there. Mickey Pruitt, the first to get to him. That's a tough pass. He threw that a long way to the sideline.
And a big change in the early philosophy. Now down 3-0. Pat Jones really not opening it up in his own territory early in the game, but goes with a first down pass, a wide pass, which is kind of dangerous.
Weimer last week, if you saw our telecast, a touchdown catch was the first of his career, and he's a fifth-year senior at Oklahoma State. So that was a big moment for him, and we were glad we could show it to you here on our Raycom Big 8 telecast. 2nd and 5. The running play to Nash, who's in there to spell Thomas, and he is short of the first down.
One thing you have to defeat when you go against the defense, you have to defeat that nose guard. In this case, it's Rappel, number 91. The center will block him, or I should say 97 here, which is not Rappel. But you get a double team. See, the center and the guard, if you can get that guy out, maybe pick off the linebacker, you can get some big yardage.
3rd down for the Cowboys, 3rd and a long one.
That was Tom Reinhardt in at middle guard.
Here's Nash again. First down, fumbles the ball. Colorado has it. Big recovery for the Buffaloes. Lyle Pickens, the senior out of Reseda, California, comes up with it.
Mitch Nash, just a freshman, 185 pounds. He's very fast, but it won't do you very much good if you don't hold on to the ball. Nash has a hole. Gets hit right there. Helmet on the ball. They teach that. Good defense for Colorado, and they come up with it. Another thing I think about McCartney, the coach for Colorado, is you see Lyle Pickens. He's the one who caught the fumble, picked it up. McCartney, 9 years with Bo Schembechler at Michigan as a defensive coordinator. Most of those years, he knows defense.
Conley Smith made the hit. Straight's going to throw. And he underthrows JoJo Collins, who was open on the inside.
And he got nailed by Leslie O'Neal, and that was the reason he didn't get that ball off. Now, in the passing situations that I can remember, on 2 occasions, O'Neal has been on the quarterback as he threw the ball.
So I guess Bill McCartney is going to stay with Strait. He's already blown the red shirt. You might as well keep him out there and see what he can do.
Now, once you put him in there, I think that's a good call on first down, because what he's trying to do is get the defensive backs to move back a little bit so his wishbone will work a little better.
And that Strait still has it. An excellent fake inside to the fullback, and Strait turning the corner for about 3 or 4 yards.
Boy,
Harry Roberts got him.
That secondary came up fast, too, and Moore was coming up on him, too. They covered up real well on this play. Watch 44. He's going to come in a little late. Now, Strait has running room right here. But here's Moore. Look at that. Look at that tackle, and Harry Roberts comes in late. That's just great play from a safety to be able to read that quickly, come up, and make a tackle for a short gain.
Nobody tackled McCarty, the fullback, that time. And the coaches upstairs for Colorado may keep an eye on that. As Kevin said earlier, you've got to stop the fullback first in the wishbone. So timeout on the field with 3:46 left in the first half. Colorado on Larry Eccles' 29-yard field goal. Well, they lead the Oklahoma State Cowboys 3-0. We'll come back on a beautiful day in Boulder, Colorado to Folsom Field after this. 3-0 Colorado. Back live on a beautiful day in Boulder, Colorado. I'll tell you, it's invigorating out here. The air is so clean on a gorgeous sun-kissed day. The temperature at kickoff in the mid-50s. Huge crowd here, along with Kevin Slayton and Kevin Kiley. We're glad to be here. 3rd and 7 for the Buffaloes. There's that counter to Brown again, and he was hit in the backfield by O'Neal.
This is a team that passes for just 50 yards a game, and that's really pumped up. They don't throw the ball very much. Their starting quarterback, Hatcher, coming into this game, had only 12 completions and 33 attempts for the year. So when they get 3rd and long, they're in trouble. They've got to get yardage. First 2 downs, they've got to get close, and maybe a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, something like that.
Good defensive effort by Oklahoma State after the turnover. Forces a field goal attempt of 52 yards by Eckel. He's 0 for 1 from 50 yards and more. He's got that one on its way, but it's well short. And hits about 10 yards short into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. And the ball will belong to Oklahoma State. So a big lift for the Cowboys. Defensively, they are able to stop Colorado after they fumbled the ball, as did Colorado earlier when the Buffalo offense fumbled the ball. That's our story, 3-0, and Oklahoma State will take over at the 35. The report from the sidelines on Mark Hatcher, the Colorado quarterback, is he re-injured that ankle. That's not a surprise, but they say he'll probably return. First down, Oklahoma State. Williams stumbling as he comes out, flips it out for Riley, who's got a step. Nearly turned the corner, but Pickens able to trip him up. Riley's another kind of guy. If he turns the corner, see you later.
There's a couple of game breakers. That's kind of funny in this defensive struggle. There's a couple of game breakers on both sides here. You got Brown, who he could probably fly if he had wings. He could get going fast enough. And Riley, 2:56 to go here, and State's going to open it up a little bit, try and get on the scoreboard. They trail by 3.
First down, Cowboys. They run the draw play to Thurman Thomas. Big yardage for him inside the Colorado 45. Finally brought down by David Tate, the sophomore from Denver, number 23.
Psychology of this game so interesting, of this game meaning football. There's Thurman Thomas. They throw on first down. They make the Colorado people, as well as myself, think they're going to open it up, so they loosen up a little bit on defense, start looking for pass. They come right back with a draw play. That's real good play calling by the Oklahoma State people.
They're going to measure to see if Thomas gained the necessary 10 yards on first down, and it appears as though he's just a tad shy. Now this is the kind of play you love to call. Second and inches. And we'll see what Pat Jones brings out of the grab bag for Oklahoma State.
Well, this used to be a surprise when Bart Starr did it about 20 years ago, but nowadays I think defenses, you say in the huddle, look out for the pass, watch out. You know, everybody's a little nervous. I think a better down is like to do this would be like a 2nd and 4 or 5, you know, to sneak a pass in there.
They run into each other, and Timmons is stopped for a loss. Well, that play had disaster written all over it from the snap. DeLuzio came up to stuff it, and they got a lot of help from Don Fairbanks, but it was Timmons and Williams colliding that cost them the play, and they lost a yard.
Timmons doesn't carry the ball that much, you know. I think he doesn't get a chance to get handoffs. It looked like Williams expected him to go to his left or his right after he turned around, and Timmons was going to go the other way.
So it is now 3rd and a yard. The toss to Thomas. Good job by Thomas to get the first down, because DeLuzio was in the backfield about 3 yards deep and nearly had him. But as you said earlier, Thomas doesn't give you much to grab.
Yeah, the worst thing he could do is have to try to tackle that guy one-on-one in the open field. DeLuzio was there. Thomas has that ability to give you that limp leg and hop on one leg and get the yardage. If he needs a yard, he's going to get a yard.
You see the story. 2 minutes left in the first half. Cowboy first down at the Colorado 42. Oklahoma State has had some impressive drives, but as you said, Kevin, they seem to tire when they get downfield, those big linemen in this thin air. Batted down on a great defensive play by Kurt Koch, because J.R. Dillard was wide open, the tight end.
Well, Koch's a big guy, and that helps. You know, Koch's 6'7", 260 pounds. 87 is Dillard. A little delay. They want to go to him. He says, oh, I'd have had it. He was wide open. And the reason that Koch was able to get it, that little short pass, you can't loft it. You got to throw it straight. That makes it a lower pass. And Koch was right there at 6'7" to stop it.
Well, just think how high he was, because Williams himself is 6'4", so it had to come from a pretty high line to begin with. On 2nd and 10, Williams has the time, and he's got Weimer wide open. He pays the price as Tate drills him, but that's a first down deep into Colorado territory with 1:40 left in the half. And hey, Williams showed you something there. He drilled that ball.
Williams has a lot of confidence here. He's looking off the secondary. Watch him turn all of a sudden. Bang. He's looking the other way. He turns, and you see it's kind of a zone. They give him too much room, and he's able to come up and make the catch.
First down, Oklahoma State now driving at the Colorado 23. Here's Thomas having a big day. Out of bounds he goes inside the 10. They'll spot it at the 8-yard line. A 15-yard pickup for Thurman Thomas. He's rushed unofficially for about 89 yards as we have it up here.
It's amazing when a team opens up their offense out of necessity. They're very conservative early. When they had to open it up and throw a little bit, the whole offense seemed to open up. This is a draw. It's a draw look. That's Timmons making a block there on Remington. That helped. And Thomas so quick he gets loose. They used a little pass blocking look there to slow down the Colorado secondary.
First and goal for Oklahoma State. Impressive drive here. Thomas off the left side is wrapped up as he gets close to the 6-yard line, but no further. The first man there to hit him was Don Fairbanks, the senior out of Lakewood.
Well, with 1:19 to go, they're going to have to go with power football close in, and now we'll see about the endurance factor.
Oklahoma State with 2 timeouts remaining, and they're using one here. Minute 19 remaining in this half. 3-0 Colorado in the lead. A reminder, the first half of today's Big 8 game has been brought to you by Coors and Coors Light. Beers with a difference worth tasting. Beautiful scenery outside Folsom Field here. Lou Ranoni, our director, giving you the shots today. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. 3-0 the Buffaloes in a defensive struggle that to the winner will probably go a very large bowl bid. As soon as bowl bids are officially able to be given out, the Oklahoma State cheerleaders and pom-pom squad following the Cowboys all the way up here. Of course, this is a nice trip to follow them on.
Yeah, this is a good one. In 2 years, Pat Jones has only lost to Oklahoma and Nebraska twice. Never lost to another team.
He's 15-3 in those 2 years. Thomas over the right side, headed for the end zone. And he is just shy. What an effort from Thurman Thomas.
5'11", 186 pounds of dynamite here. This guy's got the quicks, and you just saw the strength. Good lead block by Timmons. Thurman can smell the goal line. He's trying to get his nose across it. And Colorado wants to keep him short and get the ball. Good job by DeLuzio, because Thurman obviously can't go across without the ball. He figured I'll grab the ball.
DeLuzio nearly did. Another timeout for Oklahoma State. It's 3rd and goal. You see where the ball is, inside the 1. And Oklahoma State still has 1 timeout remaining.
I think the other timeout, the first timeout, was a let's take a rest timeout. These guys were pounding it down the field, and they called timeout, a good timeout, and rested a little bit. They were able to fire off the ball, get the blocking, and Thurman almost got in. This might be another rest timeout.
Or it could be let's not make a mistake timeout. Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Know what we're going to do with 3rd and goal from a foot away.
Well, I think I know what it's going to be. If it's the I formation, it's Thurman over the top.
Yeah.
And if it's, well, I think it'll be the I formation and Thurman over the top. And if I'm a linebacker now and I'm playing, they play a very tough goal line defense here. If I'm a linebacker, I'm going to catch Thurman. Here's the I. Look for the fullback and jump. Oh.
Touchdown, Oklahoma State. He was listening, he jumped. And a whole lot of folks grabbed him when he jumped, and the play continuing on. They still want another piece of Thurman, but he's got the last laugh. Thomas going into the end zone. So Colorado, a defensive team that's given up just 5 touchdowns in the last 4 games, very grudgingly yields one here to Oklahoma State. And the Cowboys, with a minute 6 left in the half, forge into the lead 6-3 with a conversion to come from O'Donnell. For Thomas, his 9th rushing touchdown of the year, and O'Donnell is perfect. It's 7-3 Oklahoma State. But what a great first half defensive effort from Colorado. They had shut out Oklahoma State until that very moment.
2 great efforts by Thurman Thomas. Watch the height on this. That's the key. Look how high he gets. Colorado is there, but look at this guy. That's a 6-foot high jump right there. Now you're going to look at it from the side. Just look how high he gets. Look at the helmets of the Colorado players. He's 6 feet off the ground, and that's what got him in. It wasn't strength. It was his calves.
Attention alumni, and older genders.
So Colorado finds themselves trailing for the first time today, 7-3. Both teams have had good scoring opportunities. And Oklahoma State and Pat Jones using their timeouts very wisely. When they got down there to a 1st and goal situation, did not want to come away empty-handed as they did earlier in the game. When on 4th down, they had to try a field goal and missed a short one after a 3rd and inches illegal procedure penalty cost them a 1st down.
That's a real good point, Kevin, and very I think the thing that strikes me about Pat Jones, an assistant for so many years, he's so smart. He seems to be always 2 steps ahead thinking. He knows tired football players make mistakes. He calls a timeout. He realizes the altitude may be a problem. He just makes real smart decisions, and he may have been really a big factor in that touchdown there, those 2 timeouts.
Alexander and Collins are deep. This is a driving kick that goes over the head of Collins. Good job by O'Donnell to drive that ball. He doesn't want JoJo Collins to get his hands on it and return it. So with a minute 6 left in the half, Colorado will have it 1st down at their 20. Now the wishbone, of course, is not a good 2-minute offense. And in this case, a 1-minute offense.
Yeah, this is bad here. For a wishbone team does not like to be behind. Nobody does, but You can't do things like this. 10 plays, 65 yards, a lot of mixing, passing, and running in there, and that was a great drive by Oklahoma State. Really, Colorado may not be capable of a drive like that.
Strait still has it. He gets around the corner. Strait at the 35, the 37 before he's dropped. 17-yard pickup for the quarterback, Alan Strait. That's their longest run of the game.
Well, the reason this thing worked was because the handoff took a long time, and Leslie O'Neal, he was after that thing. It's a good thing he didn't put it in Witherspoon's belly there, but it took a long time, and the defense kind of got sucked in, and Strait took off down the field. But remember, in a wishbone, even if you pick up 17 yards, clock stops for first down, then starts again. You really can't kill the clock running the ball, or use the clock, I mean.
He'll throw this time. Now he's in trouble. Good move by Strait. And it's dropped over on the side by Embry. He was triple covered, but Strait did a nice job to elude the rush.
He did an excellent job, and he threw it a little bit behind Embry, who had, as I said in the open, 51 catches, a Colorado record last year. He's got 6 this year, and he's the guy. If they get in a passing situation, he's going to have a lot of Cowboys running around him.
I asked Bill McCartney yesterday how Embry was adjusting to that role of blocking instead of catching the ball, and he said that Embry's father has played a great role in that. He told John Embry that last year while you were catching all those balls, a lot of guys were blocking for you.
Yeah.
Now this year when they're running, you're blocking.
And the pros won't forget he's a great receiver. He'll get drafted.
Strait gives it to Brown on the counter. Watch out here. He's hemmed in at midfield. Good defensive job that time by Demise Williams just to hold his ground and make sure Brown didn't break it.
Well, they're going to make that thing work before the end of this game. They've run it 3 times. They got more success on that time than they have on the previous 2, but that's a game-breaking play. We just talked about John Embry and his blocking ability, and the fact that he's not catching as many balls plays a big part in this game. John Embry, turnout block here. And number 8 right there as he slips inside of a good block by Embry and picks up big yardage. A kid like that who'll give up the pass receiving, still do a job for you, blocking, well, he's a valuable product when it comes to pro football. And Ron Brown, he won't do too badly either as a receiver in the pros. There's John Embry.
Colorado has a first down at midfield with 33 seconds left in the half, trailing 7-3, and they use up one of their last 2 timeouts. But the thing now that Oklahoma State must consider is another long run of 15 to 20 yards, and they'll get in field goal position.
I split the bone here. I'd take Brown, put him outside. Embry really, Keenan is in at quarterback, and he's a better thrower. And I think what I would do is split the bone. I put Brown out there, take a little pressure off of Embry, or put him in motion. And so he's not even in the game, right?
Keenan started the last 4 games of last season when this Colorado team was a passing team. He nearly drops the snap, and he'll throw. And he guns it over the head of Loy Alexander, who was open when he turned in on the pattern, but Keenan waited too long.
That was a terrible looking play. It just didn't seem to. It just never seemed to get off right. It seemed like Keenan, new in the game, having a little trouble handling the ball. And I was watching Embry. He ran kind of a lackadaisical pattern. I think they thought it was a procedure penalty.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Colorado from midfield with now 28 seconds remaining in the first half. Keenan again. Now the pressure, down he goes. Warren Thompson got him from behind. He never saw him. First sack of the year for Thompson, the senior out of Dale City, Virginia.
Everything they run off this wishbone thing. They run that wishbone look, so it takes some time. He's got to fake it. Thompson likes that because that gives him more time to get to the quarterback, and he does. Wishbone teams have to run the wishbone look, and they can't just drop back straight, and that will create a problem when you have to pass the ball.
Well, Mike Marquez, the right halfback, was trying to block Thompson that time. It just didn't work. That was a mismatch.
I still say put Ron Brown in the game and
see you later.
Send him west. Throw the ball to him.
Send him north, send him south, send him east. He'll go anywhere. Pat Jones will tell you about the job he's done here. What a congenial guy to talk to. Down on the field yesterday while Oklahoma State went through their workouts.
Maybe one thing tougher than taking over a poor program, and that's taking over a great one.
Yeah.
Because you got to win. And Pat Jones stepped in. They didn't miss a beat. And what a job he's done for Oklahoma State. He's a guy that took over a program that was really pumped up, doing well. And, boy, they've just been flying ever since.
All he did was win 10 games last year. That's the most ever in Oklahoma State history. And of course, McCartney on the other hand here at Colorado, turning this program around in just this season. Keenan with a great move, keeping it himself inside the 40 to the 39, but they don't have any more timeouts. And there are 9 seconds left, and the clock stops for the first down. And here comes Eckel to try a 55-yarder.
Got to kick it lower. He's got to get more of the ball. The last time he kicked a floater and there's too much wind up there, he's got to hit a line drive if he's going to get this.
The wind is in his face as he gets it off, and that one's going to be short also. So Colorado with an impressive drive on the final possession of the first half, and they got themselves close, but with that wishbone offense, it just kills too much time.
Look at the hole on the right side. Nobody for the tackle, even the block. They're closing down on the wishbone fullback. And we'll see that one again. I don't know when we'll see it, but we'll definitely see it.
You don't think they'll go back to that later, do you?
Yeah.
Well, we've got 1 second left, and Oklahoma State will get off a play before they head to the locker room.
What a job by Colorado with 9 seconds. They not only got off a play, a field goal attempt, but they left a second on the clock.
That's efficiency. Williams, I'm sure, and that's what he does, just falls on the ball, and that kills the clock. So the last touchdown with 1:06 coming in the second quarter for Oklahoma State gives them the lead as they head to the locker room here in Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. The Cowboys 7, Colorado 3. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network.
State's offense coming back on the field after a very productive last drive that got them the only touchdown of the day. They'll be coming out pumped up thinking they can move against this Colorado defense, so it'll be a big series for the Buffalo defense.
All kinds of yellow cards out on the field. We told you about that earlier. Michigan State in the third quarter, and I thought Minnesota would have that one pretty much their own way.
Tough loss last week to Ohio State. Gotta hurt him. And is Foggy back in that game?
He was supposed to play, but I'm not sure if he played. That one's at halftime now, and that's an earlier score we had for you. That's our score, 7-3 the Cowboys. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley and a host of thousands gathered in black and gold in the stadium here this afternoon as Colorado kicks off. And I mean, Eckel nailed it. Out of the end zone on the fly. That's how you assure no run back. And all those yellow cards all over the field. I'm surprised that the officials have not stopped play in order to get them off of there, because that can be dangerous.
He was short on 2 field goals, Eckel was.
This time he had the wind at his back.
Yeah.
Makes a heck of a difference, doesn't it?
That would have been a 150-yard field goal. Oklahoma State 93-26 in the second half. I don't really understand what that means. I've never been able to figure that out score by quarters. It basically comes down to what happens in the next 2 quarters in this game.
First down for the Cowboys from their own 20-yard line, and they run the ball with Thomas. Great cutback by Thomas. Look out here. He's finally dropped as he crosses the 35-yard line, but Solomon Wilcox made a sure tackle, or he may have been gone.
What a play by Solomon Wilcox, and what a cutback here by Thurman Thomas. Remington, the whole defense, Rappold misses him. They all over pursue. Now watch Wilcox. I mean, all he needs is one block there, and he's gone.
Pickup of 17 for Thomas. He's now over 100 yards on the day, and that's customary territory for him. He had been held under 100 in each of the last 2 games. Timmons, the fullback, and he doesn't get very far. Dan McMillan, number 50, wrapping him up.
But look out for that play. They've got 4 linebackers for Colorado. It's a 3-4 defense. What they did, they ran Thurman Thomas wide, hoping the linebackers would go with him. They get a block on the middle guard, and then it's down the road for Timmons. And they'll try that again before the end of the game, and that's a big play sometimes.
It's an important series for the Colorado defense. The last time Oklahoma State had the ball, they scored a touchdown. And this man did most of it. Thomas, he's off to the races. I don't think anybody's going to catch him. See you later. 60 yards on the run for Thomas. I said it was an important series, and when you got a game breaker like that, we talked about the big play at halftime, and here it is in the opening series.
And that was over in a hurry. A great block on Kurt Koch, number 95 of Colorado. He was drilled, he went down, and he, Thurman Thomas, went south with the ball for a touchdown.
So they'll tack on the conversion in the person of Joey O'Donnell. Opening series, and that's a crusher for Colorado. 14-3, now Oklahoma State in the lead, and we'll be back after this. Another look at this play here.
Okay, Thurman Thomas, watch 95 in the dark jersey, down right there on the ground. He didn't get over, he couldn't cut it off. The linebackers weren't there, and Thurman Thomas down the road. Great blocking, and another thing about the altitude, remember, they just had a half to rest. They came out and overpowered the Colorado defense.
14-3, Oklahoma State. Will be back after these words from Bud Light. Thurman Thomas having a big day. Representatives of the Bluebonnet, Sun, Florida Citrus, and Holiday Bowls are all here today. It's only fitting to remind you that the Big 8 Conference has landed at least 3 teams in postseason bowl appearances in each of the last 10 years. What a record that is. Bowl victories in the Sugar and Gator last year, enabling the Big 8 to go for its 50th bowl win this season. The Big 8 Conference, a tradition of postseason success, and these 2 teams, of course, have bowl visions. Certainly the winner of this game should have no problem gaining entry into one of the nicer bowls. Of course, they're all nice. They're all in nice weather places around December and January.
Well, the loser of this game, too, has got a good shot at a decent bowl. We're talking 1 loss and 2 losses for Colorado, 1 loss for Oklahoma State. Both of these are fine clubs, and I'm sure that they'll both wind up in a bowl.
That's a big lift for Oklahoma State, and for Colorado, they have to start thinking now. The last 2 times Oklahoma State has gotten the ball, they've scored touchdowns.
That's a devastating sequence for a defense. It was not only the big play, but the plays earlier, just prior to that play, were good big plays for Oklahoma State. They just handled, out-physicaled, if that's a word.
Well, it is now.
Defense, yeah, they just coined it.
See if O'Donnell can kick away from Collins. He can't. The kick is short, and Collins takes it on the run at the 15, and he is drilled and dropped in his tracks by Kenneth Cumbie. That's the kind of coverage you want on a game breaker like Collins.
Short kick, high, the wind held it up. A lot of time to get downfield, and Cumbie crashes him.
Good day for Thurman. How about this for bad news for Colorado, though? We just received word from the bench that Alan Strait, the quarterback who replaced Hatcher, has separated his shoulder to go along with his foot injury. He won't return today, and he's got a redshirt season washed down the drain now as Keenan comes on to run the offense. And Keenan gets good yardage across the 25 out to the 26-yard line before he is taken down by Warren Thompson. We're still waiting to see if Hatcher comes back. We were told that he would, but we haven't seen him. Marvin Hawkins injured for Oklahoma State on the play, and didn't take Oklahoma State long, did it, Kev? Not even a minute.
Certainly didn't. 3 plays, 80 yards, 59 seconds, and most of that 59 seconds was Thurman running down the field with the ball. This one's not over that. You know, interesting here that Craig Keenan is in at quarterback. He's a pretty good passer. And with Strait out and Hatcher, who's expected to be back, and Ely, by the way, who was injured in the first half, the lineman is expected to be back. Keenan throws the ball, may open up the offense a little bit.
All right, 14-3 Oklahoma State, 13:47 left in the third quarter, and the big touchdown run by Thurman Thomas of 60 yards to go with his 1-yard plunge in the first half, giving Oklahoma State that 11-point cushion that they now enjoy over the Colorado Buffaloes and this stunned partisan crowd here in Folsom Field. We'll be back with more after this. 14-3 Oklahoma State. Back live in Boulder. Marvin Hawkins on the Oklahoma State sideline, leaving the game. Weatherspoon carrying for Colorado. He got a couple close to the 30. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. Glad you could join us around the country here on our Big 8 Raycom telecast. And here is Junior Ely back into the game now for Colorado, number 63, the left guard.
And they've had problems since he went out. The Buffaloes went to 2 wideouts on that play. What they normally do is go with a tight end and 1 wide receiver, but what they did there was they put 2 wideouts out and tried to stretch it. Tried to stretch the defense. They did not complete a pass in the first half. That speaks for itself.
3rd and 2, and they give it to Brown. Brown sidestepping his way through the defenders, and it looked like he got the first down. Leslie O'Neal around his ankles.
3rd and 3. The fullback will carry the ball. He'll also make some holes for you. And Witherspoon at 230. Little roll block there. You think he'd stand up and pound somebody, try and get a shot back after he's been hit the whole game. Good job, though. He created a hole. Brown was able to get in and get the first down.
The important offensive series here for Colorado because they have had trouble moving the football, and of course it had problems with the injuries to the quarterbacks, and that leaves you some inconsistency. Keenan looking like he's run this wishbone all his life, but he got straightened up by Jim Krebs, and that'll get you hurt in a hurry.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I was going to say the same thing. Keenan better put his head down. It'll help you get more yardage if you get that head. That's why they give you shoulder pads so you can use them. Notice they don't give you a big plate for your chest because they don't expect you to stick it out there for the defense to get at it. And Keenan's got to get down a little bit. If he runs like that, he's going to go on the injured list too. He's a senior. He really ought to know better. Got to lean. If you lean, running back should lean, and a quarterback in a wishbone is a running back. He has to lean into the defense.
It's 2nd and 5 after a pickup of 5. With an 11-point deficit to make up, you start to wonder if Colorado might start employing the tight end John Embry in their offense a little bit more. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. All conference a year ago, and we talked about his production this year as a blocker.
The State's pretty tuned into Embry. The guy too is the lead back, Sam Smith, the lead back in the wishbone. He could get loose for a pass.
And we haven't heard much from Sam Smith. Brown going over the left side, close to another first down, but I believe he'll be about a yard shy.
Colorado has got to be careful not to get out of their game plan, though. And we're guessing here that maybe they should pass and do this. But remember, this is a pretty good wishbone, and they're just down 11 points. If they can get a score here or in a few minutes, this game's got 11 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the third quarter. So we've got a long way to go.
3rd and 1. Keenan rides with Weatherspoon, and that's a sure ticket to a first down.
Right over Eric Coyle. They say Eric Coyle now might be the best center in the country. They say that he is among the best in the Big 8, and I guess that if you're among the best in the Big 8, you're among the best in the country. And he's a great player. 6'2", 270, just a junior. He's just down the road from Longmont. That's throw a rock, I guess, from here to Longmont.
It'll carry in this air.
Yeah, if you had a mind. And he's gained 18 pounds in the offseason, and he's laying it all over the Oklahoma State people. Good player.
First down, Colorado. Keenan to throw the ball. He drills it complete to Alexander at the 40. Well, you got to like the way Keenan has run this football team, especially here in the second half.
Well, you know what that's going to do. Against the wishbone, those defensive backs, they like to creep up. They like to come up. There's the fake to the fullback. Everybody's looking. Keenan pulls up. Bang, strike, hit him right on the 5. That's a great play, and that'll do a lot down the road against that Oklahoma State defense. Loy Alexander on the receiving end. What that's going to do now is make the safety start thinking pass a little back, put them back on their heels instead of their toes.
16-yard pickup, first down at the Cowboy 40. Only the 3rd catch of the year for Loy Alexander. There goes Keenan. That's the play we saw near the end of the first half. He's running straight up again, and Moore busted him, and he nearly fumbled the ball.
Runs too high. He's going to get pounded. He runs too high. He got hit by a safety there. If Leslie O'Neal ever gets a hold of him running like that, he'll break him in half. This is that play. It's a quarterback draw, a little fake to the fullback. They close down defensively. Thompson misses, he slides, but Moore, who seems to be everywhere when State needs him, makes the tackle. Now that play will work all day. Question is how many quarterbacks you want to run in there.
And they've lost a couple today. Pickup of 5, 2nd and 5. Those yellow cards, folks, you can see them flying in there. Those aren't penalty markers. Keenan keeping it again. He gets hit around the ankles this time by James Ham, the linebacker, number 40. And he only got a couple. Marvin Hawkins, whom you saw get injured a little while ago. Those are those yellow cards. For Oklahoma State, has a bruised knee, and they say he might return to the Cowboy lineup. But look at the cards. That can be a hazard right now. You start to cut on one of those things, and there goes your knee.
And the official's going to call. This is a card timeout, I believe.
And they'll get some help from some of the Colorado players as well as some of the sideline administrators getting some of those cards off the field, and hopefully they'll stay off.
Let's talk about Ely. You know, number 63, Junior Ely, came back in the game about, a few minutes ago. And ever since then, this offense has been pumped up a little bit. They carried him off in the first half. And Junior, out of La Puente, California, forgive me if that's not correct, Puente.
Said it well, said it well.
He's tough. He's the strongest player on the team. He can bench 480 pounds, and evidently he's pretty tough too, pretty gutsy, because he's back in the game after having an ankle injury and doing a good job.
He's bench pressing a couple of those linemen, and Keenan is running this offense. He's not your basic wishbone quarterback. He's a drop back passer. Fumbles the football, he better just jump on it, which he does. So on a 3rd and 3 play, a bad break for Colorado.
Yeah, he just dropped the snap.
Well, we've seen a lot of that this year. That's uncustomarily. The quarterbacks and centers exchanging problems. Of course, we've seen a lot of different quarterback combinations with the centers around the league.
And a lot of quarterbacks in this game. You know, Coyle has snapped the ball to 3 different quarterbacks. It always seems to come on a big play, though. I guess it's everybody gets a little pumped up and they try to get out of there a little quick and the ball drops.
Eckel with a 54-yard attempt. And that one is well short.
If he just kicked those things like he kicks off, he'd have plenty of distance. That was another floater.
So that means that Oklahoma State will have respectable field position around their own 37-yard line and a first down. So that drive that looked good and promising for Colorado comes to an end as the result of a fumbled snap. And with 8:36 left in the 3rd quarter, 14-3 Oklahoma State under perfect skies here in Boulder, Colorado. We'll be back. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. Glad you could join us. We're coming your way live from Boulder, Colorado. Oklahoma State leading Colorado 14-3. First down Cowboys at their own 37. Thurman Thomas, who's having one of those career days, just keeps on adding to it. Gets up to the 45, a pickup of 8.
There's too much room for Thurman to run. The holes are too big. He's getting out there. The linebackers are there, but he has too much room to maneuver, and he's so quick laterally that the linebackers just can't get there. They're going to have to come up a little quicker and close that hole.
He had a better than 240-yard rushing day against Washington in the season opener. Here goes Timmons, the fullback, and he gets close to the first down. May indeed have it near the 48-yard line.
Thomas opens up so many things. He'll open up the passing game, the play action. They'll be able to go up on top with play action to him, hold the linebackers, opens up the fullback. So many things when he runs well. The Oklahoma State offense pretty potent.
And it's no secret that in the loss to Nebraska, he was held under 100 yards. And in the game last week against Kansas, in which the Jayhawks nearly beat Oklahoma State, he was held under 100 yards, and the offense sputtered both times. It's a first down. Of course, they did have some big passing numbers against Nebraska.
Well, they were down in that game, too. When you get down as far as they did against Nebraska, it kind of takes the running game out of your arsenal. You have to throw, and Williams responded very well in that game. Big interception at the end of the game. Nebraska got it, and then he's been hurt really ever since. He's had that thigh bruise. I think this is probably the first week he's been healthy in a while.
And he has shown it. A lot more quickness this week than we detected last week in Thurman Thomas. Those injuries have a funny way of slowing you. Here's the draw to Thomas. He's hit by the linebacker in a very good effort that time by DeLuzio, because had he not been there, Thomas might have been off to the races again.
Well, they had to, I guess they heard me about closing the holes. They had Remington, number 40, is going to blitz on this play. He takes the hole to the left. Here's 40 on the blitz. Now he takes away this side. Thomas immediately goes. DeLuzio reads it, gets help out there from McMillan, and they're able to pull him down for a short game. Colorado beginning to take chances defensively.
Give him 1 second and 9. Riley and Weimer both in the game at wide receiver spots, and Williams will pass. He's looking for Thomas. He's out of the pocket. Now he's down. Dan McMillan with his 6th sack of the year, the best pass rusher on this defensive team.
What a job by McMillan. Now, this is the guy they say the pro scouts love, and they ought to. He's 6'4", 235, a senior, number 50. He also runs a 4.61, and look at the strength. He throws the offensive lineman down and still has enough to run down Williams. That's just a great play by a pretty good football player.
And Williams is 6'4", 210, so he didn't just cast a fly down either after he got hold of him. A big loss on the play of 10, maybe 11, let's call it, back to the 40-yard line.
Screen and draw here if you're a defensive player.
3rd and about 19. Boy, Thomas has a chance to pick his hole, but there is none. And he's dropped by Kyle Rappold, among others.
That's Pat Jones again. Pat Jones says, you want to beat me, you beat me. I'm not going to beat myself, put it up 3rd and long, and have one of your guys pick it off. He goes with a little draw there to the I-back, and he'll turn the ball back over to Colorado.
Oklahoma State with a quick snap. They want to get the punt off quickly, and this is the kind Collins will return, but the up man calls for the fair catch, Ferrando.
Colorado went with the block. There was nobody back there to block for the punt receiver, so he did the right thing.
And they got that punt off so quickly. Oklahoma State hustling onto the field, going on a quick snap and getting rid of it. 31-yard punt, very short kick. And Colorado takes over. 1st down on their own 27.
It's a good defensive series for the Buffaloes. And remember their coach, Bill McCartney, he's a defensive coach, came from Michigan. He was defensive coordinator up there, and he knows how to change defenses up when he's getting beat.
McCarty now in at fullback for Colorado, replacing Witherspoon, and McCarty carries it over the left side, running hard out to the 36-yard line. McCarty, just a sophomore, and a hometown kid from here in Boulder.
He lives over the hill, and if you think that's a second teamer in there, forget it. Him and Witherspoon dead even. They're both considered starters, and maybe McCarty has a little more speed, and Witherspoon has the power, and speed is what they need now. They need somebody to break it up the middle.
Pickup of 9, 2nd and 1 for the Buffaloes. That's the kind of 1st down play you need from the wishbone. There he goes again. McCarty, big yardage again. Got about 6 more, 5 more, up to the 41-yard line.
Great blocking by Coyle and Symington on the right side, opening up some holes.
These guys have all got those necks. They've come right out of the Nebraska School of Neck Development.
There's a little thing in the back there where you hook the air hose up and you pump those things up. I don't know, ladies, is that attractive?
Write to Kevin Kiley and express your opinion on it. Here's Sanders skittering his way over the left side, and he gets a couple also. That play looked slow and developing, but he still made a gain out of it.
State was there. Here's Brown, the big speed. If they could just get him loose, they want to get him loose. You remember, he's a wide receiver. He's got a block. He's got that thing down pat where you hit the ground, you kind of roll over the guy's shoes. It's really tough for a guy. This guy was a leading receiver in the Big 8, or one of the leading receivers, and he's got to play a lead blocker. That's tough. That's tough, and he's in there for his running ability, not his blocking.
2nd and 8. McCarty keeps the ball and gets just about 3 to the 45. Everybody had a hand on him, led by James Ham, the senior linebacker out of Merritt Island, Florida, number 40 on the bottom of the pile.
Well, what Colorado has to do now, they've got to throw the ball on 1st down. It's 3rd down now, but they have to put something in the mind of the Cowboys secondary and the defense that they're not just going to run the ball. They've got to start getting them to make different adjustments. They don't want to get into these 3rd and long situations because they become too predictable.
3rd and 6. Keenan will throw. Thompson chasing him down. He gets it out to Sanders, makes a move, but he's going to be short of the 1st down. Excellent defensive work from Oklahoma State.
The wishbone's really pretty easy to when it's a predictable like that in a passing situation. Remember, the back has to come out of the backfield and catch a pass, so he's further back from the line of scrimmage. If it's 3rd and 7, he's actually got to go 10 yards for a 1st down, and they're pretty easy to read. They've got to change up a little bit now, Colorado. We're getting down to late in the 3rd quarter, and they need a score.
Barry Helton on, leading the nation in punting. His worst punt of this day was 42 yards. He had a left-footed 51-yarder on the run. This one is not his best effort. Riley calling for the fair catch, and he nearly got the corner, but it rolls into the end zone. And that one will go as a 54-yard punt. And Oklahoma State with a first down at their own 20. 3:52 left, third quarter. We'll be back to Boulder. 14-3, Oklahoma State in the lead. Back live at Folsom Field on the Colorado University campus. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. First down, Oklahoma State. Thomas in trouble. They strung it out well.
What a job by the middle guard, Kyle Rappold. Just a great job. The center for Oklahoma State trying to block him, but he just rode the thing right to the sideline and made the tackle. That's just an incredible play.
So a pickup of a yard for Thomas, who's enjoying one of his finest days. He is replaced now in the lineup by the freshman Nash. Second down and 9 for Oklahoma State. Thomas getting a well-deserved rest. Nash, who fumbled earlier, big hole, gets across the 25 before he's hemmed in. Good job by Conley Smith, the junior linebacker, number 36, to make the tackle.
This time, the middle guard's so important. Number 91 gets double teamed here. Tucker, they just ride him out, and that's why there's such a big hole. He's expected to get double teamed, but his job is really to get down low and make a pile. If he can't defeat the block, don't let him drive him back like that. That creates too big of a hole. Middle guard's got to occupy the center of the defense somehow. Get lower.
3rd and 4 for Oklahoma State. Thurman Thomas back in there, and he's tripped up. He's short of the first down. A big defensive play that time by Conley Smith again. He got some help that time also from DeLuzio.
Well, this is great defense and very conservative offense by Pat Jones. He needs 4 yards. They closed down hard. Remington on the ground there. The defense was able to come in and make the play.
Thompson on to punt it away. Let's see if JoJo Collins can get a return. Colorado needs the big play from a game breaker, and he really nails it. No return here, folks. Collins trying to make an over-the-shoulder catch, and then he just dives on it. You never know which way the official will call that, even if you don't touch it. If it looks like you did, you better go get on it. So it'll be at the 16-yard line where Colorado will take over. 1st and 10. We're coming your way from the beautiful campus of the University of Colorado, Folsom Field. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. A 58-yard punt by Rich Thompson of Oklahoma State has Colorado hemmed in, and they run the fullback. But Kev, that's been the story the second half. They have not had good field position.
Well, on their last drive, they got some good field position. They got down. They haven't started with good field position. You're right, Kev. But they got down into state territory. And what they're doing is they're becoming predictable. And at this point, I feel you got to live and die with the wishbone if you're doing well with it. But here, you'd like to avoid death if possible. And here, they really need to throw the ball on the early downs a little more and break up that secondary for State.
The 3rd down plays have hurt them, and here's Keenan running the option. He pitches it to Brown. He needs a block, and he gets it. And he has to go out of bounds near the 25-yard line. Just ran out of room.
Well, Brown needs to turn his shoulders a little quicker and get upfield a little quicker. With that, speed's not going to do him any good going to the sideline. The block was there. He needed to get square immediately and drive for that first down. Seems like they could have got more than 8 or 9 yards on that play.
It looked as though it was going to be a big play, and he just ran out of bounds. So now it's a 3rd and short, 3rd and a yard. But that's a weapon that Colorado has, the great speed of Ron Brown. They need to start converting these situations. Keenan keeping it himself, and he gets the first down, and he was gang tackled or got close to the first down. Depends on where they spot it.
Wrong guy to carry the ball. We talked about it early. He runs so high, he doesn't get that lean in that drive. They need a guy who can get low and drive for a first down.
They spotted it back, and I don't think where they put the ball that he is going to have the first down.
No, they stopped him, and the reason they stopped him was because he went in there real high, and they were able to turn him back over on his back. If you're low, you've got the great momentum.
And it's that 3rd down bugaboo that is hurting Colorado in the second half. They just can't seem to make the yardage. He's short again. And you can almost not afford to gamble at your own 26-yard line. but they're going to, I think. They're going to go for it. Troy Wolf, an extra tight end, comes in, number 41. Well, you got to figure that a wishbone can't be stopped on inches, but...
Well, the thing is here now, when you stop the quarterback, and you got to figure they're not going to go wide on short yardage, you got to stop that fullback in short yardage. Here they come.
Got to be Weatherspoon. Now he keeps it himself and has the first down. None of the other linemen moved. A little bit of trickery by the Colorado offense, and it works.
That's the old junior college play. You don't go on sound, you go on touch. The quarterback comes back, he touches the center on the butt, and they dive, and generally, see, defense goes on movement. The rest of the guys don't move, so the rest of the defense doesn't move, and he's able to pick up a first down.
Well, he didn't get a very generous spot by the officials here. It looked like he gained 2-3 yards, and look at how close it's going to be. He's got the first down.
Gotta have it, yeah.
But they moved it back a half yard. First down, Colorado.
That's a good play there. That's a tough play to stop. Of course, remember, it's almost like that naked reverse or bootleg. There's nobody's moving on your team. So when you go left to the center, if you happen to meet up with a defensive player, it's you and him.
First down, Colorado, after a fourth down gamble deep in their own territory, pays off with 20 seconds left in the quarter. The counter to Brown, and he's tripped up, and give credit to James Ham, the linebacker, number 40, who made a great play.
Ham reading Brown all the way. He never moved until Brown moved, and he followed him right into the hole and made the play. We've talked about these linebackers, talked about them in the open. They're really unheralded. Leslie O'Neal gets a lot of the publicity, but those are pretty good linebackers in there.
And the third quarter has expired here in Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado. 14-3, Oklahoma State leading Colorado. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. This is the Raycom Sports Network. Beautiful sky over the Rocky Mountains here in Boulder, Colorado. Folsom Field, 14-3, Oklahoma State leads as we enter the fourth quarter. And now it becomes important for Colorado not only to move the football, but for them to score some points.
If this is not a passing down, Kevin, and I've never seen one in my life, and the wishbone, I kind of touched on it before, they go through all that rigmarole with the fake to the fullback, and they do it on passing downs too. It becomes really almost kind of silly, really, at this point, because the defense starts playing pass. It just takes you longer to get back and throw a pass.
Bowl bids on the line everywhere around the Big Eight, and there may be one on the line next week when Kansas plays Colorado in Lawrence. We will be in Columbia, Missouri to watch the wishbone of the Oklahoma Sooners and the Kitty Corps from Barry Schweitzer's team taking on the Missouri Tigers. Elsewhere in the Big Eight next week, Iowa State at Nebraska, Kansas State at Oklahoma State will kick off at 11:30 Central Time Saturday morning from Columbia, so join us for that one. On this second down play, the reverse to Collins. He needs to outrun Roberts, who diagnosed it well and makes the tackle. And Roberts gets a little bit extracurricular there, and he's lucky he didn't get a flag.
Problem with these plays are that State is now looking for him. Colorado needs 2 scores. And so they're just looking. The wide guys are staying at home. The linebackers are playing a little deeper, and the result of that is that when Collins gets out there, there's a lot of field, but there's also some white shirts out there. That's a nice tackle.
Harry Roberts, the senior out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. He's an Okie from Muskogee. Third down play for Colorado. Definite passing situation, in Keenan under heavy rush goes to the air, and Ferrando makes a leaping catch. One official wanted to call it a catch, the other one said no.
You're absolutely right. The one official called it a catch, and the other one said no immediately. And I think the difference really was the guy who made the call first. It seemed like the guy who said no just called it first. This is a little half roll. It's a great pass, a pretty good catch by Ferrando, but the defense is really what makes the difference. A super hit. causes him to drop the ball. Now, I don't believe it was a reception, but watch this guy. Take it a little further. Whoop, okay. Well, that was the guy right there that was going to call it a catch.
Punting situation again for Colorado, and Barry Helton on. He needs to touch one off here, and he does. Riley back at his own 25 with the fair catch. So another super job from the punting of Helton.
And State just doesn't want to make a mistake, and that's just great coaching. They get fair catch when they need to. They don't throw the pass where they could get caught throwing an interception. They figure if he catches the ball, the play's over. No fumble on the return. Not going to give Colorado an opening. If the Buffaloes are going to come back, says Pat Jones, you're going to have to earn it.
47-yard punt by Helton. He has not damaged his standing as the nation's leading punter today. So first down for Oklahoma State, and they can start working the clock. 14 minutes left in the game, and they own an 11-point lead, and they have Thurman Thomas, who's having a great day. Will Timmons right up the middle, and he is met immediately by Dan McMillan.
Nice job by Rappold, holding his ground at middle guard, giving McMillan a chance to close from the outside linebacker position. Talked about Rappold, 5'11", 245, now 255. He's just a sophomore, and maybe we should talk a little bit about the youth of this team. Rappold and Koch are sophomores. McMillan's a senior. Remington, a junior. DeLuzio, a sophomore. Schubeck, the other linebacker, a junior, and it goes on and on. This is a young, talented team for Colorado.
3/4 of this team are freshmen and sophomores, and they gang tackled Thurman Thomas, and I mean they made him pay for that one.
Middle guard he's the key to the whole defense, because he's the guy that's got to hold his ground, and then he's got to get off the ball and pursue, and that's just what Kyle does. Dad was the trash compactor. I don't know what this equates to, but Thomas right there goes down. And the reason let's qualify that, because he was short and wide like a trash compactor. I guess that's the only reason.
And it forces them into a 3rd and 7 situation. Interesting to see what Oklahoma State calls, and they'll run it with Timmons. Like you said, Kevin, they're not going to give you a chance as DeLuzio brings him down. The Colorado defense needing a turnover, and they're not going to get it with plays like that.
Pat Jones saying to his defense, I've got confidence in you. They try to bust it up the middle, but Timmons has nowhere to go. He's no Thurman Thomas. He doesn't have that outside speed, so the defense covers him. Say about this defense, too, and McCartney at Michigan, he was once voted the Big Ten Player of the Week as a coach for what he did against Purdue, and Mark Herman, he devised a defense that shut him down. He was a Big Ten Player of the Week.
Thompson hangs it high. Collins back. He'll return it from his 24. Makes a nice first move, but Hudson is there to bring him down. Mike Hudson, the junior strong safety for Oklahoma State, playing on special teams and doing a great job all around. 12:08 left. 14-3 Oklahoma State. We'll be back to Boulder after this. Back live at Folsom Field. Kevin Slayton along with Kevin Kiley. 4th quarter. 12:08 remaining. Colorado with the ball, but they need to get it going.
Kev, I'm playing pass here, Kev.
Keenan still has it. He tries to cut upfield, and he's not going anywhere. He's wrestled to the ground. And the crowd getting restless, as I know.
I can't believe it. I mean, I just can't believe it. The kid can throw pretty well. First down is the down to throw against this team. Now we're looking for pass, screen, draw, all that stuff. You're looking for something that's conservative, something that is safe, but will get you big yardage. That's generally screen, draw, maybe a counter or a reverse.
For Colorado, you start thinking we need the big play, and they need it desperately. And they run the fullback through. McCarty running hard, carrying people near midfield.
Well, that works.
When you're handing it to McCarty, it works real well.
This is probably the only offense in the country we got a wide receiver blocking for a 230-pound fullback. But here it is, Ron Brown on Roberts, and that's a super block. John Embry, we talked about John Embry, how he doesn't catch many. He caught one here. It wasn't a pass, but whoa, that's a good block there, too. And McCarty, what a job he did running the ball.
2 blocks there, as fine as you can see it. Now they go to the air on first down, looking for Ferrando. Keenan's going to tuck it upfield. Washington had a shot at him and missed him, and he gained 6 or 7. He's elusive. Washington looked like he was going to bury him for about a 2-yard gain, but Keenan ducked in and gained 6 or 7.
That was your first down pass, and Ferrando And Embry wide open. Ferrando was covered. Embry was wide open. But Keenan, remember, this isn't a passing team. And these quarterbacks, they're not legitimate drop-back quarterbacks that read defenses, sit back. They expect when they look up, run and play action. The guy's wide open, and they just throw the ball to him.
Pickup of 7, 2nd down and 3. Keenan still has it. He better tuck it away, and he gets hit, and he'll go down just shy of the 30, maybe cross the 30. Excellent running by Keenan.
Courtesy of McCarty. Because of McCarty's run, they closed real hard on the fullback, stopped him, and that left the corner open. When one thing works, a lot of things will work because it makes those defenders think, uh-oh, here comes the fullback again, or uh-oh, they're going to throw the ball, and they start to overcompensate. That kid's got to get down when he runs.
He's getting away with murder. 1st and 10 from the Oklahoma State 30 for the Buffaloes as they charge with 10 minutes remaining. Keenan pitching it to Brown. He pitched that one too soon, and Brown's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
that
you're
play
right.
had white shirts all over it.
You're right. He keyed the play, tipped the play too soon, and also Brown was too deep, and Sanders was too deep. So by the time they got to the line of scrimmage, I mean, they had run for 3 yards already.
It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Buffaloes.
You got in the option. You got to force him. You got to force him to make a decision on the corner. He didn't do that on that play on the wide side of the field, and everybody just came a-running.
Keenan up the middle again. Tries to cut it outside, and that cost him yardage. What a sure tackle from Mike Hudson, the junior out of Hominy, Oklahoma.
Mark Moore a little late on that play. Very close to a penalty. Coming in late, number 44, and that could have been a big one had it been called. What Keenan did on that play, he tried to get the 1st down. He gave up a little yardage, tried to get back and around, and that was a pretty good decision on his part.
Some of the other Big 8 action around the country. Missouri looking for the 1st win. Nebraska, that's not surprising, is it? Kansas, Oklahoma, that's going to be a battle. Here's Brown on that counter. The hole was there, but it closed in a hurry. A great defensive job by Jim Krebs, number 55, who tripped him up.
You were right about the hole and the reason it closed. A counter is almost like a draw. See the delay? It takes a long time for him to get there. By the time he does, the hole closes. That's good defense by State, too. Good reaction coming back.
It's 4th down, 4th and 3. Now, interestingly enough, they're going to go for it. If they would kick a field goal here, they're only a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away from tying the game. But the way Ethel has kicked,
maybe going for a penalty here, Ken.
They ride McCarty, and he's got the 1st down. That's a pretty safe bet the way he's been running.
I thought they'd go with a change-up in the count and try to get 5 yards on it. They didn't. They go with straight power off the left side, and McCarty's been outstanding today. Now, look at how he leans. Now, he leans. He's that power back, and he's able to lean for that 1st down. Junior Ely, Coyle, Ryan over there. Great job by the Buffalo.
Time is becoming a factor. 7:50 remaining in this game. And remember, even if Colorado scores, they're going to be 4 points behind, unless they go for the 2-point conversion, which they probably will do.
They get a touchdown with that defense they have. They're in the game.
Keenan still has it. He's eating up some yardage, but he gets short yardage this time.
Keenan is showing you how much they miss with Hatcher being hurt. He couldn't go to the corner. He couldn't get out there quick enough, and Keenan's able to get out there and put pressure on the State defense. He's not a great runner, but he's picking up yardage because State's really not doing a great job forcing the quarterback.
And Keenan does not have the quickness that a healthy Hatcher would have.
There you go. You just saw a pretty good graphic there. When they rush for over 300, which I'm sure they haven't today, they're undefeated, 1-2 if they don't.
216 so far. Keenan keeping the ball again, and he's getting some pretty good yardage, eating it up in chunks, but it's going to bring up about a 3rd and 3 or 4.
Another thing, I said earlier, the first 5 games, Colorado started the same 22 people, offensively and defensively. The last 3 weeks, they have had injuries. They have had injuries to their linemen. They have had injuries to Hatcher. They've been in trouble, and they're struggling a little bit. Football, luck plays a great part in it. If you can keep people healthy, keep them together week in and week out, you're obviously a lot stronger team. That includes today, 3rd and 3.
They'll go with McCarty. He's hit once and gets the first down. He's a horse. First and goal, Colorado.
I'll tell you, Kevin, I'm looking at this guy, McCarty, 6'1", 220. These guys are blowing out State, and McCarty, my shoulder's hurt from watching this guy. I'd hate to have to come in there, and the way he runs so low and so tough that the only thing you get from this guy is a helmet and a pair of shoulder pads, and you don't like to play against fullbacks like that.
He is a bruising runner. Colorado now taking a timeout. And that's their first that they've used here in the second half with 6:05 remaining in the game, and they're 11 points behind.
Wishbone teams need those timeouts more than passing teams. They can't throw the ball out of bounds. They don't have the precision to go up and down the field with a passing game.
14-3 Oklahoma State, and we'll return after these words from Black & Decker M47 Series Power Tools. First and goal, Colorado after a wise timeout.
Yeah, the timeout was good for Colorado, but I think it helped State too. I think they were getting tired in the altitude.
They'll run McCarty during the break. Kevin Kiley turned to me and he said, run McCarty 4 times. Well, there's one.
They're going to pound this guy right up the middle. Coyle is one of the best in the country, number 69. He and McCarty, it's on their shoulders now. What a block. What a great block and a good run by McCarty. Just blew Washington out. John Washington was number 80, and they're going to go with their strength. Coyle and McCarty. I got to believe they're going to go right up the middle.
5.5 minutes remaining. 14-3 Oklahoma State. Colorado just 3 yards from their first touchdown of the day. There's McCarty. Fumble! Oklahoma State has it. No, Colorado has it.
What a break. There's one gold helmet in there.
But the Oklahoma State player diving on the ball, and he clearly had it. He must have lost it.
Well, let's see who this guy is, this lonely buffalo on the bottom of that pile.
Well, there's Leslie O'Neal.
Well, you would expect to find Leslie in there. I'm surprised Mark Moore's not down there, too. Quarterback, Keenan. And I'll tell you, that's a straight dive to the fullback. There's no excuse for this. No excuse for the fumble. All they're doing, they're going right up the middle. He looked like he tried to pull it out from McCarty. I don't know why, and he dropped the ball, but Keenan made the play, came back.
Boy, everybody see that ball on the turf going after. Oh, look and see.
Oh, that's Leslie. He got away from Leslie O'Neal.
Yeah, he took it away from him because O'Neal had it.
I'd give him the Big 8 Player of the Week just for getting that fumble right there.
O'Neal had that ball. 3rd and goal now from the 8. He's going to try to throw for it. He's got a lot of running room. And he throws for Embry, who gets hit. And that'll be pass interference, clearly, against Demise Williams.
I think Demise fell on this play. I got to believe he fell. Embry had the angle on him. If the ball is over his head and yet short of the end line, it's a touchdown. But I got to believe Demise Williams fell.
Keenan could have run the ball in. He had that much room on that side. There's the call, pass interference. Here's another look.
I can't believe that this is intention. Look on the right side of your screen. This is a good movement, real good movement by Keenan as he gets outside the rush, throws the ball. No, I don't know what that is. That looks intentional. I guess he figures it's a touchdown and he's going to leave it up to the defense. Demise, I guess he has to make the reaction play. Not a good play, but it's on the 2-yard line, first down.
First and goal. Of course, even if it's not intentional, the penalty can still be called if you run through a receiver like he did. That play, you have to wonder if there was a chance that he could catch the ball. But as you saw in the replay, Keenan could have waltzed in.
Yeah, I thought he tripped. Okay, if you're a linebacker now, you're looking at McCarty and you're coming right up the gut.
4:56 remaining. Keenan has it, and I think he's in. We'll wait and see. The official is going to unpile it here. He's in for the touchdown.
Colorado within 5. Now what Keenan did there, he looked like he just faked it to McCarty and rode him in there, used him as a blocker, a little bit of a wedge, and it worked. Got to go for 2 here.
No question about it. It brings you to a field goal and a tie. Now, officially, they're going to say that McCarty scored the touchdown. That's the official ruling, but you could pick either one. They were both holding on to it that time. Keenan again. He's got it. They're within 3 with 4:49 left.
Boy, that play has just killed Oklahoma State. That little fake and a counter by the quarterback just killing him. And a great block by Coyle again. Open up a super hole for Keenan to go. Keenan's not a great runner, but he's doing some damage. Okay, let's go with the touchdown. Coyle, 69. You're going to see Keenan and McCarty, 14 and 32. Who's got it? Who cares? They're both over.
That's why it took so long to call it. Nobody knew who had it.
And now the extra point. It's a counter. Washington gets blocked by Coyle. Keenan standing straight up. Goes in for the extra point. 2 points. They trail by 3.
A big fumble recovery when Keenan took it away from O'Neal. 4:49 left. Back live. Larry Eckel getting ready to kick off. Keenan unofficially has 55 yards rushing coming into the game at quarterback for Colorado. 4:49 left. 14-11 Oklahoma State. And he nails this kick. Riley into his end zone will leave it there. Eckel wishes he could have kicked a field goal or two like that, and they'd have the lead. So the situation is right there for the Colorado defense now. And his crowd's going to get behind him.
They're going to be coming out of the ground. This is a tough spot now for Pat Jones. They've been real conservative, Oklahoma State. 14 plays, 67 yards. Remember the altitude. It took them 7 minutes and 19 seconds to get in. And I believe Oklahoma State got tired on that. McCarty or Keenan, I don't know who went in with the touchdown, but together they scored 6. Now, I got to believe that they're going to come hard with this defense doing everything now.
They're going to throw it on first down, and it's over the head of Riley.
Yeah, they came with the blitz. They came with the blitz. DeLuzio, number 49, right up the middle, pressure. Williams threw it real quick. Watch him. 49, he gets picked up. Williams feels it, he throws it out, but it's too long.
Credit Pruitt with getting in the passing lane there. You see him at the bottom of your screen. He had to throw the ball high, or Pruitt was looking at 6 the other way.
Remember the screen last week. Big play against Kansas. The screen to Thurman Thomas was a game breaker.
That incomplete pass plays into Colorado's hands. It killed just 3 seconds on the clock. The draw play to Thomas. Oh, he nearly got outside, but Conley Smith got a hold of his foot, and then everybody met at the ball carrier.
Very safe play, and Thurman Thomas almost broke it. I'll tell you, you better watch out for this guy. Here they come again. DeLuzio, Remington's the safety valve, number 40. He gets blocked, and if we don't get Smith outside here, it's a gone goose, at least the first down. That guy's quick, I'll tell you. He's an eye back, and he can get outside just in a second.
What a play by Conley Smith.
Screen and draw here. Look out for the screen pass to Thurman Thomas.
3rd and 6. Listen to this crowd. Thomas is wide open. First down. Well, you called it, but you wonder how could you leave him that wide open?
Well, you have to. You can't put a guy on an eye back man to man, but your zone has got to play tighter than this. I tell you what, I'm in this guy's shirt. I'm in his shirt. I never let him loose on a play like that. He's their game breaker. You can't let him loose in a big game, in a big play like that.
3:58 left. First down, and they'll run Thomas now until you stop him. And they do for a short game. Colorado has run off 72 plays to 51 for Oklahoma State, yet they trail by 3.
Again, that's the wishbone, really, with 3:42. A wishbone needs so much time, and now late in the game, that first down was critical because they can run off another 2 minutes. And wishbone, it's not like a passing offense. A minute is enough late in the game for most offenses, but a wishbone needs 2 or 3 minutes.
And not only that, but it moved the ball 10 yards further away from the goal line, and that'll be much better punting position if they need to punt. Thomas again knocked sideways, and I mean Remington really laid it on him.
Remington put the wood to him on that one. Oh, I like that. 6'4", 225. He had that inside-out move. Watch Barry Remington and watch why he's a great linebacker. Number 40, he reads it, and boom, you don't see him, but Thurman Thomas can feel him. He turned him sideways.
Timeout called by Colorado. They will have 1 timeout remaining. And Oklahoma State faces A third and a long 7.
Tell you what the wishbone does to you now. The timeout they called earlier, that was a critical timeout when they were driving for a touchdown. Now they've got another timeout. They have to stop the clock. What they have to do now is block a kick. They've got to get field position because they're a wishbone.
We'll be back. 14-11, the Cowboys. Back live, 3rd and 7.
Defense, screen draw, tight end, 87, screen and draw.
Dillard, the tight end, has not caught a pass today. Here comes Williams. It depends where they spot it. Oh, they're going to spot it up at the 42, and that would be a first down.
That's a first down. They want it to go to Dillard, number 87. But what a great job that they did on the defense for Colorado on Dillard. But here's Williams. He's looking. He's waiting for Dillard to clear. He doesn't clear. Williams, great sophomore, great reaction, terrific athlete, picks up the first down. And that's a bowl first down there, folks.
That may do it with under 3 minutes left.
That's a good job by the defense. That's a broken play.
2 critical third down conversions for Oklahoma State. And Colorado is in deep trouble. Thomas, everybody coming now. He's hitting the backfield by Mickey Pruitt, the strong safety. Well, you know, if you're courageous, you fake that handoff, you drop back, and everybody ought to be open.
What a job Thurman Thomas has done. Sure hands, he doesn't fumble. You're right, everybody's coming. A lot of Buffaloes, angry Buffaloes out there, trying to corral some Cowboys. Thurman Thomas, 194 yards, 32 rushes, no fumbles for Thurman Thomas, and 2 touchdowns. He's done it all today.
60-yard touchdown run at the outset of the second half is the winner right now with 2 minutes remaining. Barring a turnover, that first down probably wrapped it up. Thomas near midfield, near another first down. It'll bring up 3rd and 3.
Got to tackle the ball. Got to tackle the ball now.
And they'll use their last timeout with 1:50 remaining.
The great backs, they bounce off of people. It's incredible. I don't know how they do it, but watch Thomas. Watch him bounce. He gets hit, he bounces, always forward. McMillan making the hit. He's so much bigger than Thomas, but Thomas still drags him another yard.
Now Colorado is unable to stop the clock.
Well, it really doesn't matter. This was the place for the timeout. If they don't get the ball back, they won't need that timeout.
And if they stop them on this play, then of course the clock will stop for the change of possession after the punt, and at least the offense will get a crack at it. Remember, they only need a field goal to tie, and Larry Eckel, the place kicker for Colorado's had a rough day. He's 1 out of 4, and he would dearly love a chance at redemption.
I think they need to give Larry a running start. He does a lot better on kickoffs.
Might mention Tom Reinhardt in your picture there, the brother of Ed Reinhardt, who injured himself in the Oregon game a year ago. And from what we've been able, well, it depends on the spot again. They may give him a first down, and it looks like they're going to spot it good enough for first down yardage. And if so, that will do it.
What a job by Conley Smith on the corner for Colorado. He did exactly what you had to do. He came in and just crushed the lead blocker, made Thurman go laterally, but he's so quick.
Well, where they spot the ball, unless it's a matter of inches, it's a first down. And, you know, with this opportunity, you got to give tremendous credit to this Oklahoma State offensive line. With everybody knowing what you're going to do, they've been able to move to 3 straight first downs.
And this altitude, too. We talked about the altitude. Boy, this is close.
They're going to be short. Maybe a foot. Well, you got to punt it away.
And you got to block the punt. If you're a wishbone team, you don't want it on the 20. You want it on the 50.
1:44 remaining, but Colorado is without another timeout.
Yeah, they have to have field position.
Pat Jones is going to punt it. He waves his offense off. They wanted to stay on and go for another first down.
Well, Pat, that would not be the right thing to do, and Pat knows it. I mean, your heart tells you, let's go.
And end it right here, but your brain then takes over and says you're only a field goal ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. If you're in the defensive huddle now, the thing is you have to sit back on your heels. You have to sit back on your heels. You can't let the snap count. See, they'll try the snap count thing. If they can pull you off, he's got all his defensive backs, his little guys in here.
Colorado only has 8 players on the field, 9 players.
They're little guys, though. They're real quick, real quick. Watch out for the snap count here. If they draw them out off, it's a first down.
But it would help if you had 2 more.
Yeah, well, it always does, yeah. Mess up the blocking.
Somebody's going to catch it when they watch the films of this one. They've only got 8 players up front and JoJo Collins deep.
I think they're going to take it.
They'll take a penalty here, hoping to jump Colorado offside. They'll get a delay of game and they'll kick it from 5 yards back.
You know, I got to believe that's the first time one team had 11, the other had 8 or 9, and they took a penalty.
I mean, all you have to do is make a head count, and you know you got more up there. Now Colorado makes an adjustment here.
Look at the guys they have in there, all these little guys. Let's get some numbers here.
They still only got 10.
A little quicker. This may be some kind of special play we don't know about, a secret play.
Give Dan McMillan credit. He came out and counted and then waved to the sideline.
Here comes
and in comes Deluzio.
Yeah. All defensive backs. They better hope this isn't a running play. Here they come. They're going to come after this one.
Thompson just wants to catch it and then get rid of it. Good snap. And he gets it off. Oh. Collins giving it some chase. He takes it on the run. He needs to get out of bounds. They'll stop it on the change of possession, but when that ball's ready for play, they'll snap the clock going again with 1:11 left.
Pretty good job by Colorado getting the ball back. Not a bad job defensively, and as you pointed out, what a great job by Oklahoma State. Eating up the clock, doing what they had to do, and not making a mistake. They simply don't make mistakes.
We talk about this wishbone of Colorado, but keep in mind that Keenan, who's running it right now, is a passer. He started the last 4 games of last season, and he was an effective passer. So he is the right guy to have in there when you need to come from behind, but you're 80 yards from the opponent's goal line with 1:11 and no timeouts, and that's a formidable task, and they'll stay in the wishbone.
Not an enviable place. I would move Ron Brown outside, and you may see him headed down the field here.
That fake's not holding anybody. Ferrando, a leaping catch at the 36. The clock will stop with the first down.
Ferrando and Mike Marquez was loose on the top side. From the defensive point of view, who do you guard in a wishbone? If these guys start running around like crazy, they really don't have a wide open passing attack, and it's tough to key in on receivers.
A minute remaining, the clock is running. And here's Brown. He heads for the sideline. Smart thinking by him, and he's out of bounds. 53 seconds left. Remember, they need field goal range. And that's all they need to tie the game. Certainly you'd like to win, but
realistically, right. Realistically, I think Colorado would like to have a tie. They say at home that you go for the win, but I think the nature of their offense and what they have to do to get in the end zone, which would be to pound it in if they got close and not throw it in, I think a tie would be really a big victory. Big victory.
It'd be big anyway.
It'd be something. Yeah.
He picked up 5, second down. Keenan is getting time. He guns it down the middle to Embry, who fumbles the ball. Now they call it incomplete.
Ooh,
boy, that was close.
I think he caught it. I think he caught it. He never came down, but I think he caught it. Embry's the guy. This is a lot of coverage here, and what a pass. I think he's got that thing. And now he doesn't. At any rate, it's a good call, really, for Colorado. They call it incomplete, and Oklahoma State still on defense, but we got a third down. The guy that I saw, number 20, Mike Marquez, who's in the game, he's a pretty good receiver, and he was loose on first down.
Collins is your deep threat, and he's to the near side, and he's got double coverage. Of course, they're double covering Ferrando at the top of your screen. Here comes the rush. Down he goes, and it's O'Neal.
And the clock is running, and Marquez was loose straight down the field.
And he's got a long way to come back, and he's not sprinting. The clock's still ticking, and he better hurry.
Keenan just didn't pull the trigger. It seemed to me, Keenan saw him, he just didn't pull the trigger. If he'd have laid the thing out there, he had a shot at it.
25 seconds left, and it's 4th down and 12. Not only do they need a completion, but they need the 12 over Embry's head, and that will do it. He was wide open at the Oklahoma State 45-yard line.
And Keenan just collapsed on his back, put his arms out. He knew that the pass, as soon as he threw it, he knew it was a bad pass.
16 seconds remaining, and here's another look at O'Neal, who again made the big play.
Well, this is Leslie's type of game now. He knows they're going to pass. He reads pass, jumps right over Brown, and with Marquez steaming down the field, loose up the middle, Leslie O'Neal comes in and makes the sack. That was 2 plays ago, and then an incompletion put an end to Colorado's hopes. Pretty good ball game now.
14-11. Oklahoma State by a field goal, and they made it stand up, and they'll drop down after the snap. Look at everybody around Williams. They'll shake his hand, and this one's in the books. Oklahoma State surviving 2 road tests back-to-back, and they came through in both of them. 17-10 at Kansas, 14-11 here. And for Bill McCartney, a disappointing loss. But remember, he's gone to war against Nebraska and Oklahoma State back-to-back without his quarterback. And he's put up 2 big battles. 14-11 is the final score, but we'll be back with these words from Bud Light. Back in Boulder, a tremendous defensive struggle from start to finish. Oklahoma State survives for the 2nd consecutive week on the road, and they win it 14-11. Kev, you couldn't ask for any more than we had here.
It was a great ball game. Colorado, are they for real? The baby Buffaloes, when they grow up, they're going to be tough. Oklahoma State is typical of a senior team, well coached by Pat Jones. They don't make mistakes. We said over and over and over how they won't give you a game. You got to go out and take it. I think really the difference in the game was Colorado had to go with 3 quarterbacks. That was the problem. They couldn't get the offense on track. State defense was up to it.
Today's Big 8 game has been brought to you by Bud Light, the light beer with a first name and taste. Everything else is just a light. By new Valvoline 4Guard, the motor oil for today's harder working 4-cylinder engine. And by Black & Decker M47 series power tools. They work with your hands as if they were one. The executive producer for Raycom Sports is Don McGuire. Today's game produced by Ken Samuel and directed by Lou Renoni. Our associate producer, Ted Garcia, and the technical director was Skip Seagar. Thanks to our statistician, Paul Thomas, and all of the folks who did such wonderful work behind the scenes, including the staff of both Colorado and Oklahoma State. Next week, join us again, 11:30 a.m. kickoff Central Time, Oklahoma against Missouri. For Kevin Kiley, I'm Kevin Slayton saying so long from Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado, where this afternoon Oklahoma State defeats Colorado 14-11. So long, everybody.